Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you, anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?
Go back to our intro. Wow, things are all out of whack over here. Guys, let's see. Andrew, say something.
Something.
Perfect. We are good on the audio. Hopefully everybody will tell us as we go on in the night if
Or
everything
here.
went flowing fine. I think we went really well, except for whatever that weird screen hiccup was there. But aside from all that, guys, welcome back to another foil variant. It is Thursday night. Andrew and I are back for some more intellectually honest comic book talk. We have a lot to get through this week. Obviously, if you caught the thumbnail, you know the lead stories this week are going to be Spider-Man and Superman, or Superman Spider-Man. I'm going to get those two confused until the end of time, just like we did with Batman Deadpool.
I was gonna say, I don't think we said the correct thing once.
Not one single time. Like, I think we literally picked the opposite name every time. But aside from one of the better books of the year, a really damn good crossover, we have Ultimate Endgame, which made a choice. It made a very, very decisive choice, I guess you could say.
It made a choice.
It made a... it's rough. We'll get into it. We can't really tell you guys what it is because it's kind of a giant spoiler. So we'll get to it when we get over there. But then after that, I think we have... we have Superman, of course. We've just got to cover the whole super spectrum this week. And then maybe we should quick hit just what our developments are in Flash and Justice League, because they're kind of I don't know, they're quick hit worthy. I don't think there's a lot to say there, but I'm sure
They're like 5-minute worthy.
really
Is kind of what they are.
Sure everybody out there who's a regular viewer wants to know our thoughts on the new Flash series, since that's what a hero we won't shut up about ever, and you and I have been sort of wary about Ryan North taking over the book, and let's just say for good reason. But before we get into all of that, guys, obviously we did not have a show last week, and that was because our boy over here was down at MegaCon Orlando promoting all of his all of the Rippaverse stuff, but specifically Blue Shift and Rippazine number 5. Andrew, post-con report, how did everything go? I haven't even really gotten to talk to you about it.
Everything went great. It was super busy, even on what are usually the slow days for cons.
So is it the normal days, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah. So Thursday and Sunday are usually the two slow ones. And we were busy. Like, we were just busy the whole damn time, the whole con through, which was great. Got with a bunch of cool creatives.
At least big cons you've been to, like the last few mega cons, you guys have been like constant stream of traffic all the time. Everybody is joining up. Everybody wants to know what you guys have going on,
Which is a good problem to have. And we also had Chuck Dixon there on Saturday. And he had a line in, like, the con wasn't even officially open yet, and there was a line of other vendors coming by to like chat with him and get stuff signed. Jimmy Palmiotti swung by and was chatting with Chuck for like 20-30 minutes, and they were just shooting the breeze, right? And he was super fun and good about it, and it was just a really good time. It was a long freaking weekend. My feet wanted to fall off afterwards. I managed to avoid con crud because I was pumping my body full of more vitamins than I can count or list off.
That might be the most impressive thing. Like, I don't think we can say anything the rest of the night that's more like interesting and impressive than that. Good night, everybody. Like, he did not get a
that's the
single out
show.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the show right there. We're done. I it was my first con where I had work out, right? So Ripazine number 5 is out in the wild. People have been reading Blue Shift Tryouts, my short story here, and loving it so far. It seems to be the general consensus, which I'm very grateful for.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I did not have any copies with me at the con because it is actually our first book to sell out of all covers. And I found this out Monday. Yeah, I think Monday or Tuesday. My shirt is also sold out.
Really? Are you wearing
Yeah,
it right now?
I'm
No, you're not
not.
wearing it
No, I
right
don't
now,
have it
but
on. Yeah,
the
I don't have it on.
standard Blue Shift one, right? With the
Yeah, yeah,
logo. Yeah, you've worn it before. You've worn it on the show. It was up for
sold
sale
out.
on the site. That's awesome. So wait, you didn't have any copies going into MegaCon of Ripazine?
No. So
Really?
what
I
we
thought you guys
had
had some
was
set aside. That's nuts.
that's what I thought. So I was initially told that we were probably going to have at least one box of my zine. So of
Right.
just like the standard editions, which would be like that'd be like 50 copies, right?
Yeah,
Give or
which
take.
is fine.
Which is perfectly fine because at what was it, Sunday, Carol and I had a 2-hour block of time, which was kind of dedicated for us to have our stuff and be tabled
Oh,
and
nice.
just dedicated for chatting with the fans and signing stuff. Um, I had nothing. So what I that's not entirely true. What I
Did you
did
at least
have
have
was the
was Blue
Ripazine
Shift at least on
collection.
like well was he at least on like a graphic somewhere where you could be like, that's my guy. I don't
He
have
was on
anything, but
so
that's
we
him.
had like an I had like an 8 by 10 graphic that was printed and had on the table. So I mean, yeah, that's my kid right there.
Were
Along
you
with
at
my mug.
MegaCon or like Bell County Comic Con for the first time? You know what I mean? Not that
Yeah.
that's not a diss on Bell County. That's just saying Bell County is way smaller and like way more like the artist alley is way more can be more amateur there. So like that's so funny. Just like, yeah, this guy right here, I
It's
swear.
pretty it's pretty hilarious. And we did at least have the Ripazine collection with us, which
Which
is
you
the
are in,
collected
right?
edition has the first 5 zine short stories, including mine. So, like, I was at least able to show people my work, right? And Edu Souza's art, for the
Yeah, yeah.
interiors, and he did a great job. Um, but, like, I didn't have these with me, and I was kicking myself because I was like, I almost brought a couple of my comp copies just for the heck of it, and then I was like, "No, we're gonna have, like, 50 of them there. It'll be fine." Right? And then we had none of them there.
But then also, like, what do you do when you show up and you have, oh, I've got 10 of my comp copies, just in case. But then,
Yeah.
oh, there's a nothing. Then it's like,
Yeah,
do
there's
you
nothing to sell.
sell it? Do you give it out? What do you do with it? I'm sure it becomes a whole thing to sit at that
Yeah.
table and not really know what to do. But aside from that, or I guess I didn't mean to cut you off. Go
No,
ahead.
you're good. No, I'm grateful that so many people, 'cause, honestly, it's super
And
unfortunate
that's
that
what I
we
was
didn't
going
have
to.
any
Yeah.
copies because so many people were asking if they could buy a copy there.
And
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 so
that's
I
actually this
would
actually
have
just leads into
sold
my
out
next
of that
question.
whole box of 50 books if I had it
Easy,
easily.
easy. But
But
yeah, that
gratefully, a couple of our fans they had received their issues that they had ordered, just in time for MegaCon, so they brought them on that Sunday, and so I did get to at least sign a
I
handful of
did see you
copies of my
starting to
book,
sign
which
a
was
couple
cool.
things, and I did see look at Andrew with his fancy signature, which is like a star. And at first I was like, what is it like? I was like, what is this gay shit? Like why is he being a little girl? Like what is this? Like why is he signing it like
No,
Sailor Moon? And then I was like,
it's an
oh,
A and R, but it
yeah.
makes a star,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh, I get it now. That's actually clever. I can stand behind that one. But no, that
Less gay now.
very less gay, still pretty gay,
Still
significantly
kinda
less
gay.
so. But no, that was all I was going to ask you was like, how was the reception specifically, or not reception, but rather the interest from like fans? Like, did you get a lot of like, oh, I loved Blue Shift? Like, I know we see on social media all the time the Rippaverse fans are blowing up over Blue Shift. You've got to have like the most fan art I've ever seen of any of the characters, and that
So
happened in a week, maybe. Like,
outside of, like, official contests, Because for official contests, everybody wants to draw the hot chicks, right? Like everybody
Well,
wants to
yeah,
draw Bloodruth and everybody wants to draw Yaira, and I can't
Yaira.
necessarily blame them, right?
Well, and that's also like a competition, right? It's like
Yeah.
what's gonna win?
But
Yeah,
what are
chicks.
people doing for fun? Well, they're drawing Blue Shift. They're drawing
A
my
lot of it,
character. Like a
and
lot of people.
and you're getting such like a spectrum of blue shift fandom. You got like the really simple chibi artists, the people who are still like starting out, and then you've got
Mhm.
like Kanan, right, who's just like, yo, I drew a little something for you, I'm bored.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, wow, that's like a pro level artist who, what did he just buy that we had to buy for you that was really bad? Was it a Titans issue? He just drew something.
Yeah. Yeah, he did
or
that
a
Titans cover. Yeah, he
that's
did
what
that
it was.
Titans
Yeah,
cover with
yeah.
Andrew Dahlhouse on colors, and that was like chef's kiss. It's Kanan and Dollhouse.
Except, like, doesn't it not have Wally and
It doesn't have Wally.
Garth? I think, or
Yeah,
like,
it's missing Wally and
Garth.
yeah. I'm pretty sure
Beast
that's
Boys there,
all.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
'cause
pretty sure those are the ones that are missing.
I'm pretty sure that's what you and I were laughing about, was like, because for those of you, I'm sure, who've been longtime viewers know this, but if you're new here, Andrew loves the Titans, but if it's not the Jeff Johns Titans, you're a big stickler for who's on that team.
Yeah,
Like,
you have two options, basically, two configurations if your goal is to make me happy, which I mean, who the hell am I, right? I'm one fan out here, but just being transparent, it's the Jeff Johns configuration, right? Where you had Tim, you had Connor, you had
Yep.
Starfire, you had Raven, but you also had Bart, right? When he came into his role as
the
Kid
Young Justice
Flash.
graduation, yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of exactly. And yeah, you had
Cass.
Cassie, right? You had Cassie Sandsmark on there, and I'm a big Cassie fan. So it's that configuration or more akin to the new Teen Titans configuration.
Yes.
I'm okay with having some crossover there with more of the OG as well, but like I gotta have Nightwing, right? I gotta have Wally, I've gotta have Donna, I've gotta have Corey, I've gotta have Raven.
I've gotta have Vic. Like,
yeah, and Vic is honestly, he's one of the most important ones too, because that's the team he belongs on. I hate him being on the Justice League. He has no rapport with anybody on the Justice League.
He has no rapport, and he has no
He has this familial unit and actually serves a proper purpose with the Titans, because the Justice League, he's just a redundancy at that point. They have Terrific.
How many not just
and
Terrific,
Cord and like a billion
Red
other people at
Tornado.
this point.
Like, if you want the robot angle of it, like, they've got billions of these guys. You don't need Cyborg specifically to be doing any of. You got Oracle, right? She coordinated everybody for a long time. You don't need Cyborg. He doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
But on the Titans, I always think of, there's the episode of the Teen Titans show where Cyborg kind of like deals with, he goes out in public and there's some kids playing in a park and they like throw him a football and they throw it to him, but then he picks it up with like his metal hand and he's like, oh wait, like, I feel human, but I'm not. And it's just like, it's one of those episodes where he's starting to feel down, but the whole resolution is like, I think he gets like offered the ability to like cover it up or undo it. And he's like, you know what? No, because like, this is who I am. And I'm going to show you, like, and that is a good role for him to be on the Titans, kind of like the dad, if you will. If Starfire is the mom, then you have Vic as the dad. Dick in this equation would be like,
because comic Starfire is actually very different from the Starfire that a lot of people grew up with in the cartoon. Like, personality wise, she could not be more different.
Well, because they went really young with their, like, they regressed her to a proper teen in the cartoon. Yeah. As opposed to...
in the cartoon, she's like, I think they're all like somewhere around 13, 14 maybe
15,
at the most.
Yeah, something like that. Hey, Robin's got his motorcycle. He's got to be at least 16 there. So we know that about Dick. But then, our Starfire is what? She's hundreds of years... She's really old, and then she comes to us, and it's like, technically, I'm 17 or something like that. And it's like, all right, whatever, you can stay. You're basically a baby because you don't know what you're talking about. You're an alien.
Right.
So, those are the two good configurations. You guys can try to add other team members, and there are other members that can work. But doing these things where it's like the new Titans, and it's like John Kent and Tara And it's like,
Yeah. Like there
okay,
are members
like,
I'm okay with swapping out now and then. Like I prefer to have Roy on there. I think Roy is important to have on there because he's one of the originals,
he is, but I
right?
think he's the most understandable about like if he's not there,
Yeah,
right? It's like,
you can
he's
remove
going through
him,
something, he's doing something.
I've
Yeah,
never been a gigantic Beast Boy guy, so I am okay with like substituting him out. I
I
know that's probably an unpopular
I
opinion
would
because
say
I know a
probably
lot of
unpopular.
people
Yeah,
love Beast Boy, but me, I'm
I
just
like him
I
well
don't know.
enough,
He's okay. He's
but
there.
I think
He's fun, but I don't need him.
as a character, I think he's fine. But I think if you're doing Titans and you're doing everybody, like you've got to have him there for the dynamic, right?
Mhm,
Not that nobody else can fill in the jokester or the, like Wally and Dick do it all the time, but there's
mhm,
something specific about Garth that, his relationships with everybody that really ties like the whole Teen Titans found family thing together,
mhm.
which is like, okay, good, you should I'm always a fan of like have him there because it feels weird if he's not. Sort of like with Vic, right? Like with
Yeah,
Cyborg. I know Beast Boy was originally Doom Patrol, and those stories do work, and I do like that. I know backstory, but to me, he's got to be on the Teen Titans. Like he's just got to be
that's
there,
fair.
right?
That's fair.
Like maybe you know what? He's kind of like and this is off the top of my head, and we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but it's like maybe to me, it's something about him being the very quintessential youth character, right? Like
Yeah.
he has an axe. He gets his powers because his parents were trying to save him, and he didn't ask for it. So now he's got this weird mutation, and it's a very simple power, sort of compared to everybody else, right? You have
Mhm.
Cyborg, who's a literal cyborg. You have Garth, who can control all the tempests and all the water, and then you've got whatchamacallit. I just totally blanked on who we were talking about. Oh, and then you've got just guy who can change shape and is green.
Mhm.
Very comic booky. And I
Yeah.
think there's you know what? It's like if you don't have him, the writers have this like the chances go up that the writers swing way too wide. You know what I mean? Like they'll go
Mm.
dark and they'll go weird because they
Yeah.
forget that like he's like that's what it should be. Beast Boy should be like the emotional level of your book. You know what I mean? Not like he should be the focus, but like remember you're making a comic book, not a
Yeah.
CW teen
Making a
drama
comic
all the
book,
time.
and we're talking Teen Titans here, right? We're
Right, which is
talking
supposed to
like
be
it's meant for a younger audience. You don't have to write
a
down
far
to
one.
kids, but
No,
young teens and up. So it still does need to be fun. They don't need to be, shoving,
exactly.
Snyderverse level emo
Look, man,
and edgelord stuff down people's
all I'm
throats.
saying is like as the years go on, I start to see where Earth 2 Superman, Earth 2 Lois, and Superboy Prime were coming from, right? During Infinite Crisis. Like it's getting a little dark around here, guys. What
Yeah.
happened to the heroes? Let's bring that back. But
Yep.
before we get into everything tonight, first I'll take a drink of water, but I feel bad for everybody who couldn't get a copy of Ripazine 5 at MegaCon because I picked up a few myself. Look at all of those. 6 copies here. Guys, first of all, I want to say, well, first of all, shout out. I can't believe it. I'm actually holding like Andrew's comic book in my hand. I keep telling like everybody who physically like sees me with it, I'm like, oh, it's Andrew's comic. And they just go, your friend Andrew. And I'm like, I know I'm the only one who's excited for this, but goddamn it, it's so exciting. Second, I know Andrew's been showing it off and we've both been talking about it for a while. The foil treatment on this thing. Obviously it's not available anymore, but if you can ever find one secondhand anywhere or on eBay, whatever you're seeing right now, it's not doing it justice. And I'm not even
Yeah.
going to try to do cameras or whatever because it won't. Like when Andrew and I joined the call today before the show, the first like 5 minutes was me going, dude, this is nuts. Like, man, my volume is still super low. That is weird. I thought.
Yeah, according to Dozer, yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks for the heads up, Zero.
ANCAP, Corey, and Zero are like, yeah, he's low, but everything looked fine over here. So let's hope I fixed it right there. But yeah, guys, this is a beauty right here. And the good news is, while these 2 copies are for me, right? I'm holding on to those. Those are going to put my non-existent kids through college. If you want a copy of one of these beautiful magazines right here, stay tuned to Foil Variant. We will be giving them away. We haven't decided how yet or in what way, but these 4 copies here, everybody, for all of you out there. And these are not comp. These are coming right out of our pockets. So we love you. Stay tuned. And yeah, you guys could get your hands on one of these B-Utes over here. Yes, that's all I wanted to do. It was cool. Yeah, I don't know. I finally have it in my hands. Got to show that off. But with Andrew and good comics aside, I guess it's probably about time that we leap into our pull list for this week. What do you say?
Let's do it. Though I do think we should kick off with something good. I think the main book of the night should be what's in the thumbnail, so we can save that one for towards the end. We'll go through because that's going to take the most time, I think, because there are a lot of stories to go through.
There's a lot to go through in that one, yeah.
I don't want to waste another solitary second. I think it's prime time.
I think, you know what? I think it's prime time. While we set up prime time, let's just blow through this, guys. We cannot put off prime time any longer. We'll say hello to everybody before we get started. Like we were saying, we've got Corey in the house. He was letting us know about our volume. Thanks, brother. And I know, did you happen to see him at MegaCon? I know he was there.
I did, weekend. Yeah. Corey swung by the booth several times. It was good to see him. He always comes by if he's at a convention that we're at. So I always appreciate seeing him.
I was just hoping that you were there at the same time. I know you're a famous and busy man nowadays. We've got
I don't know about all that.
We've got Tex and Cap. What's going on, buddy? Happy to see you during the show. That's awesome. Zero. Yep, you guys caught us at the start. I'm not sure what you mean by are y'all back. I know our schedules have been spotty over the last month. That has to do with work scheduling and MegaCon and all that stuff. So we haven't gone anywhere. We're still here. We're trying our damnedest. But don't worry, we haven't taken any sort of sabbatical.
And our next episode is going to be our New 52 retrospective.
It's going to be very, very cool.
Tonight, I will be falling asleep starting my New 52 reread.
Well, yeah, I'll be diving deeper into dude, I'm reading like more than Andrew because obviously Andrew's a little more busy. I volunteered to read the things that lasted for 6 issues. There's one series in particular that I know that is on there that I forgot about, and I looked it up, and it didn't continue ever again. Like the characters never showed up anywhere. What was it? It's not iVampire. Everybody loved Voodoo. Do you remember this book?
Oh God,
Voodoo? Yeah. It lasted 5 issues.
That was a thing, wasn't it?
No, none of those characters have ever shown up. I went on that DC wiki and I looked at it. Nothing. And I'm like, that's bad. iVampire got a freaking DC compact release, and Voodoo is just...
Which is wild.
But that makes me want to reread it, because it's, who is it? Who wrote it? It's somebody really, prominent that we like. Who wrote it? It was J.M. DeMatteis. That's who it was. Or wait, no.
Yeah.
No, that's the Marvel one. Oh my gosh, what am I looking up here? Okay, New 52, iVampire was oh yeah, it was Joshua Fialkov and then Andrea Sorrentino, who went on to do the Green Arrow, and then Old Man Logan, that what's his name Mike likes a lot. And yeah, so it's a good creator and series, just a weird, I don't know, one of those things. You guys will hear more of our thoughts on that when we get into the New 52 next episode. We've also got Punk. Punk says he's, what's up, Foil Variant? I watched the first episode of Daredevil Born Again, and it was really good. Or season 2, and it was really good. I'm looking forward to the rest of the season's episodes. I gotta catch up. I mean, I really like the original Daredevil series. I haven't watched any of Born Again. If you're putting Jessica Jones in it, I could be convinced to watch it, but I'm sort of waiting out for them to show Iron Fist. Because if they just do here's Jessica and here's Luke, and you never get back to everybody, I don't care. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah, you're just gonna leave out Danny Rand. What the hell is that?
Finn Jones is around. He's not doing much right now, so you better get him back. Subhuman, what's going on? He says Jeff Jones Teen Titans Compendium coming next month. I'm getting it. Is that so when you say compendium, do you mean like is it a collection of the extra issues that weren't part of the main run? Or
no, I think they're actually doing one of those giant fat ass
ones. I would be in for that, because that's one of my favorite runs of all time, is that Jeff Johns Titans run.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the original trade of Volume 1 right here.
Is that Campbell?
Turner cover.
Oh, Turner, that's right. That's right. Turner. Yeah.
That's the Turner cover, and I love this cover
I was
so much.
gonna say, that's the iconic image of that run to me. Is that shot, like that team shot with Bart in his like golden yellow.
Yeah. Oh, man. This first arc was just so damn good.
I mean,
it set up the run so well.
I can't even think. The title honestly falls apart once you hit post Infinite Crisis, right?
Yeah.
When the entire line was in Wally Bees, right? So like nobody knew what they wanted to do.
Yay, Wally Bees!
Yay, Wally Bees! But let's see. Subhuman says they could have brought Miss Martian back. I hate this. They always try, or like they always do. But it's always like, look, Miss Martian's here. She's a Titan. And it's for like an issue or two. And it's like a twist type of thing. Like, oh, she's here. Just kidding. We're not getting a new line. And it's like, that's the one that's the one thing people still like from Young Justice. Right? Like, capitalize on her. Bring her back. Corey also got his copy of Rippazine in today. So it looks like they're all getting out there finally. Subhuman says they brought another Top Cow character to Witchblade. So that's a bit unfortunate.
It's because they teased.
Oh, you know who it is?
Aphrodite 9.
Oh, really? They're going really hard with this Top Cow reboot then, and I'm
kind of here
really
for it.
Here for
so
it.
far,
I'm
it's
really
been quality. So if we get a reboot of Aphrodite 9, and don't even try and go crazy with it. Start out as a mini series. Give it 6 issues, feel it out, right?
Well, like they were doing with
story.
Lady Mechanica, right? Like where it was
exactly
like 5 issue, 6 issue story. Wrap it up.
Though I believe Silvestri already teased that I think it's next year. He's bringing back Cyberforce too.
Really? Oh, that's right. He has been teasing that.
Yeah.
He teased it in Witchblade or Darkness.
He teased it after the launch of the big fat hardcover omnibus that they just had on their Kickstarter.
That's what it was. I knew it was super recent and related to like something that just came out. So if they can pull it off and make it work, I'm always down for more velocity.
If it gives me more velocity,
that's what I'm saying.
Here for it, right? Like that is Zephyr's unofficial mom. Like he has his mom in the Rippaverse, but Velocity is his
Velocity
mom
and Sonic.
in the greater multiverse.
Don't ask how it happened. All right, it's Velocity and Sonic.
We don't. She kind of looks like a messy-haired version of Elise from Sonic 06, right?
I mean, do I have to bust out my Xenoblade Chronicles 3 ending image, but Sonic the Hedgehog?
Oh man,
no, we don't. We don't need to go into Sonic's love life, if you will. But where we do need to go is, as you set us all up, where is it? I was just looking at it. Did it not come in? Did my Pakistani guy let me down? Don't let me. Okay, all right. Let me grab that really quick. So.
Subhuman in the chat says Mora's artwork was on point for Prime. And in fact, speaking of, this is a perfect segue because I got you something.
That's right. Yeah.
MegaCon.
Oh, man.
And I got this signed in person
by Dan?
Mora. Yep.
I don't even know how to continue it. I'm like stunned, dude. I might cry if you continue to hold that up. Like, first of all, thank you. That's incredible. You caught him in one of his moments outside of the like work pod.
Yeah. I even told him that we have a show. I said, this is actually from my buddy, and he and I do a comic book show on YouTube, and we always joke that you draw so much stuff that you have to have multiple clones.
He has to have multiple. Did you tell him that he should have the company? Like it should be Dan Mora Comics.
It should just be Dan Mora Comics. I did not say that.
Oh man,
in the moment I was just like, he was between like signing and then he was also doing like remarks and sketches and stuff for some people. And
somebody, I think he just posted, he's like, I don't like remarks, but I'm trying them out today. And I was like, wow, I can't believe somebody doesn't like them. They seem so fun, easy. I don't know. Obviously, I've never done any of them. You'll have to let me know how a remark is, right? Like somebody will ask you to draw like, I can't say it. There's too much that we can't show to the fans yet. I can't talk about it. It'll be cool though. But brother, like bro, that's awesome. Like I am insanely stoked. I don't even know what to say. I'm just gonna we're gonna go to primetime before I just stutter here and gush all day.
Speaking of Dan Mora.
Speaking of Dan Mora, yes, guys. Oh, and just speaking of gushing over Andrew, just in time, we've got Mayor in the chat. Mayor, how's it going? Guys, click on Mayor's name. Go subscribe to the Room of Requirement. You guys are popping off. You've got videos coming out. I'm sure you've got something coming out about the new teaser, right? Like, what did that come out today?
We're actually looking to hopefully either tonight or tomorrow record a quick little thing talking about the teaser.
Nice. Yeah, as soon as I saw it up, I was like, gotta hear from Andrew and Mayor and everybody over at the Room. Like that's the Harry Potter news source. But before we talk about Hogwarts and all that, eventually, let's get back here to Metropolis, as Andrew has set it up, as Subhuman set it up. Finally, coming out of DCKO with Superman off doing his Fantastic Four thing and sort of recreating the universe and just dissipating all the Omega energy. Superboy Prime is now officially here after his little redemption story with Superman in the most recent KO lead-up arc. He is now the, I guess we're on Earth Prime Superman. So Superman
it's prime time, baby.
It is prime time beyond prime time. And guys, just before we get started, like, I can't decide if I want to give like issue of the week to Superman Spider-Man because it's such a celebration of everything. And
it is.
Like,
it's kind
so
of a
good.
celebration of superheroes in general is what that, because like you think quintessential superhero for DC, it's
Superman.
It's Big Blue.
Yeah.
You think quintessential superhero for Marvel, it's Spidey, right? And so that this big, and I'm so glad I managed to get this Campbell cover because it's beautiful. And I didn't know how much I loved Campbell's Kara until he gave me Campbell Kara.
Yeah.
And this cover makes me so happy because she looks absolutely fantastic.
She looks kind of like gorgeous.
He gave her, because a lot of artists these days have her hair a little more like weighed down and flat a little bit, but he kind of almost gave her like the like 80s big hair for Supergirl,
where
right?
she had to tamper it down with the headband. If you guys don't remember, that's why she wore the headband, was because she got a big old head of hair and can't have that flowing around at everything, or when you're flying around all the time fighting the Monitor. Speaking of, I didn't tell you this, but DC announced like their next set of compacts, right? They're compacting the fucking Matrix story. Like the return of Linda Danvers.
Are they really?
They are 100% like
Peter David?
Yes. The cover is the I can't remember if it's McGinnis or Winirgo, where like Matrix sees like Kara in the Kryptonian pod, like that cover.
Yeah.
That's the cover for it. I'm not kidding you.
That's actually freaking awesome. I need that.
I
will put that
so
right
stoked
next
for
to
that.
my Superman Batman Return of Supergirl one. That's great. I love it.
It's like, of all the stories that you and I talk about all the time, insist like that nobody else remembers, they're gonna compact that one. Like that's, I can't even think of in the CW any like cheeky mention to like Matrix or being an energy beam or anything, right? Like that's how
they don't do anything like that. Granted, okay, so I can't necessarily speak to that because I couldn't get beyond season 2. I loved the first season. In fact, Mary watched the first season with me as well, and she
fantastic season
wound up like really enjoying it. Like she really liked Kara a lot. Because Melissa Benoist was pretty much a perfect casting. It's unfortunate that she wasn't more like bright golden blonde, but acting wise, like man, she nailed that role. She absolutely nailed that role.
Yeah, she was more like platinum blondie than like gold blondie. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, she was a little more of a dirty blonde, is what it was.
That too. Yeah, that too.
But that first season was great. I tried watching the second, and I couldn't get more than like halfway through, and I was like, "This is feeling very different tonally."
I think I finished like season
quickly.
2, and then I hopped back in for like whatever crossover episodes might be happening at a given time, and then I think I watched a lot when Superman showed up, like Tyler Hoechlin, because I was like, "Huh, he's pretty good. Like this is a pretty good Superman." And
she really enjoyed the crossover with Barry.
Oh, I mean, which one? There's like a million of them. The musical one.
So the first one in season 1.
Oh,
where Barry first travels to Kara's world, right? Because that was just a really fun one. Because Grant Gustin and Melissa Benoist have phenomenal on-screen chemistry.
Weren't they in like Glee or something?
They were both
together?
in Glee,
That's
as I
what
understand.
It was. Yeah. So,
and that's why they both can sing their butts off in that musical crossover episode.
Who was the villain of that episode? Was Mr. Mitzelpick, wasn't it?
Like I don't remember if that's who it was.
I forget,
but it is somebody that acts like Mr. Mixelpick. I don't specifically remember if they name him as that. But I do know that his like the way,
or it was Music Meister. Yeah,
that's what it was. No,
was it Music Meister?
It was Music Meister.
Wow.
And the guy that they had playing him was another Glee cast member.
I remember that. I don't know anything about Glee. I never watched it, but I remember like that was the whole big
I only
thing.
know what I know about Glee is what I just told you, is that those 3 actors that were in The Flash and Supergirl were also in Glee.
What's her name? The blonde lady, like the older blonde lady actress who did the voice in like Wreck-It Ralph, and she was in 40-Year-Old Virgin. We all know who I'm talking about. She was like the coach or whatever. I don't know. As soon as I show a picture or if somebody drops a name, we'll know who it is. But enough with all that. Enough of me embarrassing myself. Let's get back to prime time, because ladies and gentlemen, it truly is prime time. It is. So yes, as Andrew and I were explaining, we're coming off of DCKO. Our Superman is not here. Superboy Prime has sort of taken it upon himself to be the new Superman. I hesitate. How do I frame it, Andrew? Because like he has sort of like Superman now knows after the last arc of the Superman series that like Prime is on the up and up. He really wants to try. So he like believes in him. He never explicitly gave him like the mantle and said like, Prime, step in for me. But it's sort of like this understanding where Prime's sort of like, well, if there's nobody here,
we have to have a Superman, right?
And it might as well be me.
And I'm totally fine with it being Prime as opposed to like John Kent,
or even like Connor, or just I don't need another event. Like, okay, so I was thinking about this a couple days ago, where Marvel and DC, when it comes to legacy characters, Marvel pretty damn terrible at it. There are very few
legacy characters,
like the ones I get, like Bucky Cap. And that didn't even really last that long.
Nobody, like, fans didn't like Bucky taking up the shield when that first happened.
I remember that.
We retroactively look back and we're like, well, we dislike Sam Wilson taking it even more. So, like, now we're looking back at Bucky Cap more fondly.
Right.
But it's really just a matter of, like, lesser of two evils for some people.
But, like, yeah, no, it 100% is. But that's the thing, is, like, Marvel doesn't really know what to do with legacy characters, but DC does. The problem there is that like Marvel can tell some pretty good stories about like trying to live up to another hero's footsteps because of that. Like that really opens that up. But with DC, we get so many stories, man. And I know you know what I'm like as soon as I say it, where the new protege, or like, you know, a Wally, a Dick, a John Stewart, a Guy Gardner, a Kyle Rayner, a John Kent, they take up the mantle, and it's just a whole arc of like, am I worthy? Can I do, like, should I have this? And the only time it was different was Batman, like Dick and Batman. But even then, Dick was like, I don't want, like, I hate this. Like, I don't want to be. It was like,
he's doing it because he feels like he has to. Well, like, and the thing is, like, none of those types of situations, especially like post-event mantle taking up, none of those can follow Crisis on Infinite Earths.
with
just
with
Barry
handing it over to
himself
Wally.
and then Wally literally stepping into Barry's boots, right? And even then, like, you know, this isn't my favorite run of the Flash because
No.
Wally's written as kind of a dick.
He's really
He's written suddenly as a bit of a selfish prick for like the first large portion of this. And it's like,
until
man,
like what is
I-
that, like 40 issues, right? Like until Wade
Yeah, it's
comes
like
in there.
you're making it hard to root for my favorite character all of a sudden. Like, what are we doing here? Right. But at least the impact of like, yeah, Wade came in and then like he corrected that real quick. He started us off at a new good starting point, you know, and then he's the one that did the Return of Barry Allen arc, which is where Barry was or where Wally was actually having that like struggle with pushing past Barry's legacy. And that's when he, you know, he hit a new speed and all of that. Like that was a phenomenal story.
It's
That's a
great.
highlight of that run. But the fact is, no other legacy character, sans Dick, really, you know, temporarily taking up the cowl as Batman after Final Crisis. No one has ever had a story that's really impactful as that. It just doesn't happen. And it's hard to follow that, truth be told, because
It's
that
true.
was the first like truly gigantic crossover event, and Barry's sacrifice was massive, monumental. It was a big deal, right? It's just hard to do that now. And so I'm glad they didn't try to frame this as that.
Right. They're not doing a whole, it's on you now. Big old like, handover. Really,
Yeah.
the framing is as simple as these 4 panels. And these are right now, like, just give this page an Eisner. Like
I was sold in, like, you sent me this page. I think I was still in Orlando.
Yes, you were, yeah.
And you sent me this because this was a preview page that they had like posted, right? And you sent me this, and I was sold immediately on the run.
And we were just like, okay, like
I'm here for it. Just give Williamson the Eisner. We're done here.
Like the combination of like the Mora art and the way Williamson writes right here. Basically, we get Superboy Prime coming in, hi. Listen, I know we just went through, he does his thing, which we all are liking nowadays.
He does his meta fourth wall break.
He's like, I know we just went through an event, like blah, blah, blah. What did he say? Oh, yeah, event fatigue, blah, 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 cash grab, blah, blah, blah. And he just goes, anyway, forget that. How about you and me, like, we just go on an adventure. Let's go beat up some bad guys, learn some lessons, make friends along the way. And then, I love, like, what do you say? Fly with me. How does
that was
Wade write Prime or Williamson write Prime in like every one of it's not one-liners, right? It's like Prime has so many of these good, like,
but he has a lot of memorable lines,
punctuations, I guess, maybe. Like the get Silver Age with me, or when he punches Superman back when he's like, keep your head up, right? Like, or fly with me. That, like, he's so, like, Williamson knows how to write Prime in this very, like, optimistic, you know what? It's like Prime's having fun, kind of. And that's because Prime knows it's a comic book, but he also is like us, where, like, he knows it's comics, but it's serious. It's still real to him, so he still cares. So, yeah, like, go show this page to you back in 2007. Right after we just imprisoned him in Oa.
Yeah.
Right? Where he just burned an S into his chest because we were going really, really edgy here.
We're like, you were a really great villain, but screw you, buddy.
Right. Like, nobody liked you. And now everybody, like, he's so cool. Who wrote, was it Williamson on Dark Knight's Metal or Death Metal when Prime started having his turn? Was that
No, I think that moment was Scott Snyder, because I think that was in one of the main. Well, no, so it was in one of the tie-in issues. So now I'm questioning whether
who was writing it. Yeah, that's a good question.
I genuinely don't remember, and I don't own a collected edition of Death Metal because
they're compacting that one.
Are they really?
They are, yeah.
See, But are they at least compacting Dark Knight's metal first?
Oh yeah. No, oh sorry, yeah. No, they're doing Dark Knight's metal, not death metal.
Okay.
Sorry. Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah,
If they're compacting Dark Knight's metal, I will buy that day one.
Right. That's why I was
Death
like,
metal, I might get out of obligation. Like,
that's it. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah,
I'll gladly spend the $9.99 on Dark Knight's metal because that event was just
you'll spend the
balls to the
$9.99
wall
on the Dark
fun.
Knight's metal compact, and then $9.99 on the Dark Knight's Gotham Resistance compact. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm gonna laugh my ass off of it if it is.
Oh God, why?
But yes, well, we got to go look back and see who got him on this arc, because masterclass in taking. This is kind of what you and I talk about a lot, right? Like, I know there's a lot of our viewers, a lot of people out there who, for various issues, whether it's a character or publishers as a whole, go, you got to just retcon it all, throw it all out. We need to reset, right? Comics don't really work that way, guys. We've sort of moved really far past that golden silver age where we can just ignore and chop things. The mark of a good writer is to take something exceptionally terrible and turn it into something that people really, really like. And it happens. It happens with Superboy Prime. I mean, look over, for a personal example, Clone Saga is a terrible story, but then you see what they do with Ben when Peter gives him the webs. And Tom DeFalco masterfully is like, oh, here's a character you're going to like. And it's things like, so rather than throwing out things, a good writer will find a way to realistically address it. Whether that is retconning it and throwing it out or playing with it, you can't just say, that's not here anymore. You've got...
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Unfortunately, like we've gone so far, it's not the 60s anymore. We've seen bad ideas come and stay and like not go. I mean, we're on year 10, 20 of fucking One More Day still being here. We know that that's just sort of part and parcel.
The Spider editorial office is convinced it was a good idea.
The biggest fucking idiot, the biggest of all time. Why are we making a new miniseries for the movie? Like, okay, we'll get there probably during Superman, Spider-Man. But to start with the first half of that, yes, Prime is here. It is Prime time, and that is where we open up with Prime rocking out just awesome action scenes here from Mora. You really see in this issue Mora's anime influence or like manga influence.
There's
like more than ever.
There's one specific panel where he does the punching. Yep. We were thinking of the exact same one, right? Where he does the manga thing where he cuts it up. Oh, it looks so good. I was like, dude.
It looks really, really good. Especially in so this is actually not his like regular colorist. This isn't Tamara Bolvane. This is Alejandro Sanchez, who I think has been doing it for the Superman book these last couple issues. And yeah, his coloring of the manga stuff like helps sell it because he understands like, what am I inking? What am I erasing? He's not just like hard lining it. It looks even better in your hands, guys. Like, I'll just put it that way. You do feel like you're kind of reading a manga here. So Prime's here. He is unloading against a throwback villain. What's his name? Like Ignition? I forget. We'll get to it because it's a really good
and
way.
He even makes a very meta remark about it.
Where he's like, oh man, we haven't seen you since the 90s, which is like, oh, that's right. Like that to me jogged my memory, right? When we opened, I was just like, oh yeah, cool. Big generic bad guy that you have the Hammer of Baravia, if you will, right? Your big generic thing that you fight at the beginning of the fight or the beginning of the adventure to show off the spectacle. But then I was like, oh yeah, wait, that actually is, wow. All right, Wade, like, or Williamson, take us on this ride. From that little cold open, we check back in on Lois Lane, who, if you guys remember, during her adventures with Superboy Prime, going up against the Legion of Darkseid, she got hit by, I forget who hit her. I think it might have been like Lightning Lad, blasted her with a bunch of energy, and instead of killing her, it reignited her Superwoman powers. So she was there. No,
it was what's his face? Saturn Boy? No, not Saturn. What am I thinking?
Saturn Girl is there.
No, no, it's not
Cosmic
her.
Boy. Cosmic Boy.
That's
or Cosmic Man, whatever the dark side one.
Whatever it was going as in the KO event that I'm
but basically, blast Lois, reignites her powers very temporarily. And what does she do? She like fights off Saturn Girl, and then I think she like gives her last burst of energy to Prime. I forget what it was exactly in that issue, but basically we check back in. Lois's powers are still gone, and Mr. Terrific is basically like, we don't know, right? And I'm kind of okay with that for right now because
we got nothing.
Well, there was something that I got reminded of, which is Zod is still coming.
Yeah,
like there's still the whole, for those who don't
because
remember,
Lois is who got his powers after the absolute power event, right?
Lois's Superwoman powers are Zod's, and Zod knows it's in, like, the last issue of his last miniseries ends with him like, oh, we have the target, boom, Lois Lane, like, all right, let's go, get my powers back. So they'll probably address it there. That doesn't feel to me like they're doing the absolute power Phantom Zone trick, right? It's not just like don't look. This is more of a, this isn't like, we have something, but it's not the time in the story for it. This will come back later.
Yeah.
From there,
we'll circle back.
From there, we get Mr. Terrific presenting Lois with another new problem, which is, as we see all of the ladies fawning over him, which is like, hilarious. I really,
I was
really
here
like
for
it.
I was like, this is good. This is fun.
I saw somebody on Twitter being like, oh, Zatanna and Katana and Huntress and Vixen being like thirsty for Superman. Like, that seems so out of character. And I'm like, maybe Katana, maybe, but the other
maybe
three?
Katana I could buy, but the other, like, look, we're still people, right? There's still women. Like, if they see a dude that like they find to be exceedingly attractive, they're gonna have that response, right?
And
the same
especially
way
when
that we would, right?
Yeah, especially when there's like a gaggle of them around, right? Like,
yeah,
they're
gonna do the girly thing, right?
Right.
That's biology. Like, your personality could be here by default normally, right? But enough factors wind up happening, you're gonna fall right in line.
I know you hate it. It's a bad example for Andrew, but like, Batman has slept with Catwoman, right? He did break, right? Like,
He did break.
Biology will break you. But what they all discover is that they are thirsting after Superman, but of course it's not Superman. It's Prime, who Terrific is basically like, yeah, we don't know what to do with him. He's living on the Watchtower, which
he's lifting up 1 million pounds,
which is great. And he's like, too easy. Like, by the way, like, ladies,
people forget how freaking cracked Superboy Prime is.
Well,
it's not that he can just do some of that like weird cosmic crap, right? Where he can punch
through panels
between
and stuff.
Universes and things. Like, no, he just, like, his actual normal power set in terms of his super strength and stuff, he's on a whole
remember
other
this
tier.
is the same kid who, like, in just like flailing to like hold on, blew somebody's head like clean across Tokyo, right? And he even has that reaction of like, I didn't mean to. So, like, honestly, if we're going blow for blow, I'm putting Prime second to only 1 million in terms of superpowers. Like, it's that heart though that like makes R. Clark that little edge over Prime. But what I was saying before we turn the page, ladies, you got to thank Dan Mora. He draws some really like good male thirst traps. Like, I got to admit, like, Superboy Prime looks good and muscular, and I'm like, good,
dude. He's
good for you, ladies.
He's jacked there.
And, oh man, the shot later on when he opens his shirt, I'm just like, all right, ladies, I'm a little bit there with you. But Mr. Terrific basically explains that because of what Andrew and I were just recounting, the Infinite Crisis and Superboy Prime's freak out there, everybody still remembers it. And a lot of people don't trust him for good reason. But I also like Mr. Terrific mentions, like, I know things have changed and reset, but most people here still remember. And I was like, that's interesting, right? Like, maybe not everybody remembers everything because of all these resets, but most of us do. And I don't know, just a cool little world building
the
thing.
Fallout of Dark Crisis with the Omniverse and everything becoming canon.
Maybe
I think that's what that is.
Oh, I think you're right. Oh, that sucks. I like my way better. But
I do too. I do too. Because I'd rather think that Dark Crisis didn't happen.
I don't think anybody's brought it up since that event. Like, nobody's talked about everybody got Black Adam's power. Nobody's talked about Pariah, who's still out there. Like, they're gonna push that off into past Barry Allen's like future.
That's like sins past. We're forgetting that happened.
Oh, yes, we are. But speaking of things that we didn't forget happened, dude, there's an Aztec reference on this page. Like, holy crap! Dan Mora? One thing I will give this JOU era is that I really like when a good artist is able to show like life happening on the station, and we see all of these different heroes because they mine the depths for these guys. But then, Mr. Terrific also goes, oh, and the other problem is that he knows everything about us because we're just comic book characters to him. And so he goes, Lois, I don't know what to do. And Lois goes, I've got you. So first of all, Dan Mora women, that shot of Lois there, dude, it's amazing.
Dan Mora women is like, that should be a standard held to every comic book artist in the industry. It's certainly at DC, but just industry at large.
He's so good at them. And also,
they're just all so pretty.
They're so pretty. They're so cute. You get like right there, you get that it's like a sass back from Lois, right? She's not like surprised. She's like, is that what, like, oh yeah? Like, is that what Superman would do? Because the whole thing is Lois goes up to him and says, you need to get a job, buddy. Right. And he goes, I don't need a job. I'm Superman, right?
I'll go find some diamonds and grab
or treasure and cash them in. And she goes, is that what Superman would do? And of course he goes, I guess not. You're right. And so, they start talking about what do we want to do? What do you want to do to try and be a better Superman, right? And he basically goes that like
panel right there.
That's the one. The punching out. It's so the line, like the ink weight. It's so good, right? But
that panel is off the chain.
But I do like, so Superboy Prime basically tells Lois like there is a limit on his reality powers, which is like I can't just go anywhere. Like I have to have a guide. I need to know where I'm going. Which good limiter on what
important
he can
limiter. Do. Otherwise, like he can find anyone anywhere in any universe.
Just go back to Krona, right? Like creating the universe, and you can do whatever. Make it true prime time. But so he also mentions like every time I've been in this reality, it's been a crossover or a crisis or a war. I just want to like hang out for a little bit. Like I just need to breathe. And so Lois, okay, what does that mean for you? What are you going to do as a job? And I do like that he notes this because she's like, why don't you get a job at the Daily Planet? And he goes, really? Like how long until people go like, why do you look like Clark? Because they were doing that on my world. And it's like, yeah, that's a really good point. But he goes, wait, I know what I want to do. So first of all, I want this page without the boxes, right? Like all the Superboy Prime parody pages here, but Prime basically goes like, all right, I know what to do. Like I got to prove I can be good. And, I don't have wives or kids to look after. So, I'll do good. Then I'll be a member of the Justice League, and then I'll be on the Trinity, and I'll get a variant, and then I might even get my own #1. And yeah, Lois is like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, doesn't matter. Like, I'm off. I've got to go. It's prime time, because he hears an explosion going off in the distance. And as he arrives, we go back to where we opened, where he sees Ignition. That's his name. Yes. Ignition from the 90s. Superboy Prime straight up says, wow, deep cut. Somebody busted out their DC encyclopedia. I loved it. And I did too.
This is the difference, and I want to especially highlight this because on this show, I've talked so many times about how much I hate Deadpool.
Yes.
And find him just utterly insufferable as a character. And he's usually considered by at least the mainstream to be the quintessential like fourth wall breaking character. But he's not, at least as far as I'm concerned, he's not likable. Most of the time, he's not written well. He's usually just, haha, stupid joke, right? Whereas this is taking meta and fourth wall breaking dialogue and putting it in a context where it's just enough of it to where it works, and it's a wink and a nod. It's a, yep, I see what he did there. And
Well,
then we get to move on,
you
right? Where
perfectly
you
hit on
don't
it right
feel like
there.
you're just trying to like, oh, I really want to make them laugh with a ha ha fourth
And
wall
that
break,
is
right?
the big difference
It's
between like
not
Prime and She-Hulk.
Prime is not a tryhard.
Right. Prime and She-Hulk, who are, those are my two big fourth wall breakers.
Mm-hmm.
They are playing within the medium, right? When She-Hulk
Yeah.
makes a joke, she's like, oh, this panel layout is awful. Or Prime right here going, oh, you busted out the DC Encyclopedia. They're in this with us, right? They're playing in the moment, in the scene, yada yada. With Deadpool, whereas remember, because I talk about this all the time. Originally, when he was crazy, it was just he's fucking loony, like a detached from reality, psychotic person. When they started, and then Joe Kelly actually turned him into the more wackier one. But even that Deadpool in the 90s was like, he was just silly. He wouldn't take things seriously. Then we got to the 2000s and our modern Deadpool, which where you hit it on the head right there, he's just making jokes. They don't matter to, haha, chimichanga. Oh man, this is like that episode of Love Island. Like, you're just saying shit. You're just referencing things.
You're just like vomiting pop culture references because you think it's funny.
Right. And there are times, like in that Uncanny X-Men issue where he shows up, where you can see they do write him like that, where it's like, oh, you've caught it. And they're like, so why are you here? And he's like, I can tell you, or we can just turn the page and you'll find out. And that works as a Deadpool. But it's when you're just like,
Gail is writing a good book.
A really good book. And a really good story. And like, oh, we'll get to Superman, Spider-Man. It's crazy how well she did. But yeah, so Superboy Prime and Ignition, they go battling it out. We start seeing, maybe Superboy Prime's first challenge, where what are you going to do? There's a debris heading for a family, and there's a building falling down. What do you do, Prime? Who do you save? Put up or shut up, boy. And Prime just goes, I can do both. And he just eliminates the debris, puts out the fire with his breath, and, goes, gives the kid back her little toy, or gives the kid back his little toy. Like, he's being Superman.
It's a crypto stuffy.
And he even says, like, there you go, kid. That dog used to annoy me, but now he's one of my favorites. And then right there, boom, just more manga fighting here from Dan, who definitely knows what he's doing. And I like this because after getting sucker punched like that, or hit from, the side, Prime, right here in that first panel, we get that, what do you call it? Like that spark of what he used to be.
Yeah, well, because we see that eye rage, right? The energy coming out of the eyes. That's the hallmark.
He's kind of being a little childish because what's he getting angry about? Stop making me look bad, right? Like he's getting insecure again, like he is, and that to me is awesome from Williamson because you got to have that conflict. I would not believe Prime is fully redeemed at this point.
Yeah,
not
100%.
He's trying his damnedest, but
that's adding a hurdle for the character. That's adding a friction point so that we actually have some character growth to actually work with, right?
Yes.
As long as you follow through on that.
Which I definitely believe Williamson will. You and I have been talking. We're pretty sure this run is going to go down as like a definitive generational for Superman. This is
one of the best Superman runs.
All In, like, is worth it just for this arc, right? This will be the only All In story we talk about ever.
All In was actually, for the most part, kind of a letdown overall. Like, with the only real exceptions
being the absolute stuff. But that's also kind of
like in terms of Prime Earth stuff.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Like Wade's Justice League.
Yes.
And even that had a few issues where it's like, we're kind of dragging a little bit here, guys. Like, what are we doing? Can we get to the action again? And then it picked up, and then things just kind of started rolling, right? And then we went into KO, and
then they all kind of farted again.
Yeah. And then Jeremy Adams' Aquaman. Jeremy Adams' Aquaman was a highlight of the All In.
It was until that last issue. We didn't talk about it on the show, but something went wrong up in that production office, right, in DC, because Adams wraps that last issue, dude. It's too fast.
That last issue made it feel like, man, like he got rushed here because of KO.
Right, exactly. Even though he's still on the book, it's so weird. It's we'll have to see how that plays out, because that might
Superman has been like really
consistent.
I think there were only maybe like 2 issues in that first arc for All In that was like,
and those
we're not moving anywhere.
But those were
right
also
now.
like, yeah, and those were like issue 2 and 3 when Clark is like fighting Doomsday and the Time Trapper army and stuff, and it was like cool action. We see the threat. What's like, why are we here? Right?
What's the big picture?
And then they kind of lagged on that, but then we got Time Trapper going, oh, by the way, and as soon as he shows who he is, that's when we're off to the races.
And
this
like,
run goes,
what? Word?
Like, oh, shit. But so with Prime, he's kind of, he gets insecure. He starts going back into he starts regressing, and he starts cracking at Ignition and just pounding and pounding. Lois has to rush in and go, Prime, stop. He's down. And he kind of goes, you know what, Lois? Maybe I'm not like Superman after all. And he just rips off Ignition's head. And he declares, Metropolis is mine, and I'll kill anyone who says differently. But then he has a moment, and he goes, wait a minute. What did I do? That's not me. And I love it, because as he has this moment where he starts acting out of character, that's not right, it starts going sketchy. We start seeing the, what do you call that? Like the outline or the guiding, like divide pages for publishing comics. It goes back into the Dan Mora sketchy art down there at the bottom. And when he comes back, he goes,
it's almost as if that page. So I'm going to, because there are 2 options here. One of them is that their pre-press team actually forgot to remove the bleed lines.
I don't think that.
But I think what actually happened here is that this was deliberate so that people who understand the production side and the comic book languages and the storytelling that's happening here understand that this is actually just meant to kind of be a conceptual page. This was not a finalized page, right? Well, because we're seeing these dividing lines and the bleed lines on here, and that like this is not an actual thing that happened here, but this is something that is a potential, or maybe just happened in his head.
Like what it reminds me of are when people, like when an artist draws a page and they don't use it, right? They go, oh, crap, I got to get rid of it. It's still there. You still made it. Story has changed. And that's what I'm getting from this. I definitely think it's all intentional to show.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it's intentional.
I don't know if it's just a stylistic thing or if there's going to be something related to his powers, because he has that moment right here where he's like, wait, was that all in my head? And none of it happened. But it felt so real, and the pages clearly got different for us. So, I don't know what it is, but it's clearly like once he starts losing the plot, almost, the pages start losing themselves because the writer starts going like, what is this? I don't want to do this. And so we get Prime. He roars of cheers from everybody, just going, yeah, Superman, you did it. All right. And then he finally sees a help wanted sign at a comic book store. So Prime goes in, says, hey, could I get a job? I know comics really well. And the guys, of course, go, look, reading comics is great, but it takes a little bit more than just reading comics to work in a business, which is completely true, guys.
That is true.
Making a video game, playing, like, you could be a fan of video games, of sports, of comics, whatever, but making it or working a business to sell it and stuff, like you and I both know this. Like you could say we had to sell comics and other things for our businesses, for Bounding and for Rippa. Like it's all about, there's a lot of pressure. You got to track what everybody is feeling. You got to hope you catch up on the right thing. You got to take risks that sometimes don't, it is stressful as shit. So this to me was pretty realistic, right? Like, okay, I'm not going to hire the first fanboy. Like, you know, go bag and board these and then we'll see about it. And of course, this being Superboy, he just does it like in a second.
Bags them and boards them in seconds.
and I love him here because he's just like, I'd love to organize your comics in the back too. That sounds fun. And it's like, yeah, I kind of agree. If it wasn't something I did every fucking day of my life, like that does sound kind of dang fun. So Prime gets a job. He agrees to just take boxes of comic books as his payment. And he's living in a slum. It's a really bad place. Lois comments like, you really want to live here? I do like his line back where he's like, I've lived in worse. An O in prison? No joke. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, good. We're remembering these things.
We are not forgetting what has come before. Good.
And then I love this Chad ass moment here where Superboy Prime is moving in and Lois is helping him up with the comic boxes, and like two
All the
very
ladies in the
attractive
building.
ladies are like, welcome to the, hey, do you need any help getting settled in? And he just, nope, I got it. Just comic books in hand. Like, what a stud, right? And then we get a really good continuity reference or canon reference, meta reference here, where Lois is like, look, we trust you, and I know that like the League and everybody's here for you, but like if you need anything, call me. Like, I'm here for you. And he goes, you're the best, Lois. That's why you had a book that went for over 100 issues. I hope that happens again. And I'm like, dude, hell yeah. Like, Prime, you little smug bastard. But then he so here's where Prime lives. It's really just his suit, a mattress, and a bunch of comic books. I gotta say, as a guy, if it weren't for like, oh, we have to like be presentable here, this works. Like, I'm kind of about it, right? So he goes, all right, let's catch up. Let's get going. But he hears a cry, help. So it's Prime time. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where he just rips open that shirt. Like, ladies, donate to Dan Mora's Patreon. Like, he deserves your money right here.
Give Dan Mora your money and you'll get more of this, right?
And then, so as Prime launches off into the night to go help, we get the reveal that Manchester Black is back in some form. We have no real idea yet. He's looking really gnarly compared to when we last saw him. If you guys remember, that's the whole Superman and the Authority, the very famous Superman speech about like, yeah, people can be shitty, but I'll always fight for them. We've all heard it. It's great. So that's where we leave Prime. That's where we leave Metropolis. And I mean, I think the fact that you and I have spent so much time and gushed about this issue so much is kind of like the biggest endorsement we could give it, right?
This
like,
is a great start to this next chapter in this run, honestly.
Great start to this next chapter. I'm very, very okay, you and I are very nice to him because we understand Dan Mora is fucking swamped. So there are times when his art lulls. However, this issue, and what I assume is going to be the rest of the arc, is like, it's prime time Mora. And when Mora decides to show up, this is what and it's like, holy crap. Like, look at this Manchester Black, his pants and this, like, Mora, you're a freaking madman.
The folds and the freaking wrinkles and the pant legs, like, and the jacket as well. Like, that is all absolutely off the chain.
He is, it's beautiful. But that is where this issue ends. Andrew, any final words on Primetime other than you and I just going like, man, this is the best? Like, this is good comic books?
This was an incredible issue. This was exactly what I needed out of this issue.
Seriously.
Which was acknowledging Superboy Prime's past, showing that he has a sincerity and an earnestness in wanting to reform himself and redeem himself. And that earnestness is what makes it believable and makes him worthy of trying to fill in Superman
for Superman, right? And
because
even
that earnestness is part of the character.
And I like that earnestness, and I like the fact, as you and I talked about, that he's not fully reborn. Like, he's still got his issues to work out.
You don't just get to flip a switch.
Yeah. But then, look at that last page, sitting down. I'm done with the day. I've done a bunch. I beat Ignition. I'm going to read some comics. Help. Time to go. Which is like, that's crazy from Superboy Prime. He would have never leapt into action like that before. So, I can't wait. Like, I want the omnibus. I want all of it. Like, this is just
I already want the hardcover deluxe edition with the concept art in the back.
Yes, right? Like, fine, I'll buy your deluxe re-releases. Screw you.
Yeah, and just Mora's pencils on some of the pages.
That's the one I was thinking of, that Dark Knight's Metal one you and I were looking at the other week. Yeah, that's what I want. I want that so bad. Let's see, what do we got this week? Nexion here, fantastic comic this week. Loved Superman. Amen, brother. I mean, it's what more can we gush about? What more can we gush about? Let's see.
This book was fantastic. It was probably my book of the week.
Right? I think it's going to be there for me, too. We got Clone Geek. What's up, Clone Geek? He says, we are going to get a Prime book as a spin-off after this arc, aren't we? Weirdly, the Prime Spider-Man story set this up. You know what? I don't know about what we're going to have after. That could to me, that's a toss-up. I think that's going to be like DC gauging how this goes.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll start getting more like Prime miniseries or one-shots or something. Or he'll just become like a cast member.
I think what I'd be good with, because he's one of those characters who's so insanely OP that having him around, it kind of like it's like what we talk about all the time over at Marvel, right? Like if you have Jean Grey on Earth as part of the X-Men, what are we actually worried about here? Right? If you have Superboy Prime chilling in Metropolis or chilling anywhere on Earth Prime,
it's
what are we actually concerned about here?
When honestly? A threat arises, it's not going to. When you've got Prime and then Superman, like the Superman,
yeah,
I'm not really worried anymore. And
yeah, so
yeah, just
what I think I'd like to see is I'd like to see them actually follow through on his arc between this and then when we get Absolute Crisis, and in Absolute Crisis have him actually play a significant role. Don't blue ball me, like give him a significant role, have him do some actually cool meaningful stuff, and then at the end of that event, then like let him go home.
Or
every now and then
that's when you take him off the board, whether you send him home or he's stuck in the source wall, or like they give him a mission to go explore the multiverse, or like that's where you just take him off the board.
Do something that takes him off the board in the context of he's not around the normal players for a while, right?
Yeah.
Because we're inevitably going to get Clark back in this next event. I'm almost certain we're going to get Clark back in that, right?
Oh, that's going to be like the issue, like 2 or 3, like boom moment. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna last page is like boom, like Superman. He's like the thunder. I don't know. We see it in our heads. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't need them both existing in the same place perpetually.
Yeah.
Because that just cracks your power scaling and your threat levels for your universe at that point. And you should, if you have Superman and Superboy Prime, I'm sorry, nothing's beating you.
Nothing is,
you just win.
Because then what Superboy Prime can just punch 2 DC 1 million and we win forever. Like, what are we doing here? He's
Superboy Prime's going to punch Darkseid in the asshole and create a whole multiverse up in there.
Dude,
like that's what would happen.
Prime's gonna go to like our real world and like beat Mark Waid over the head and make none of that ever happen. Like that's what Superboy Prime would do. But yeah, it is interesting to your second part, Clone Geek, that the Prime Spider-Man story in the crossover issue we got this week is weirdly like aside, like it's connected to this. It's really weird. We'll get into it when we get over there. And I think, what do you want to do? You want to hit that next? You want to go to Superman, Spider-Man?
Let's quick hit Flash first.
That's actually what I was thinking. Yes.
And then I think we go over to Superman, Spider-Man, because that's probably going to take the rest of the show.
It probably will. So before we go over there, just because it's a Kyle mention, I have to do it. Subhuman says to our discussions earlier about DC mantle holders never really, stepping in, or if they do, it's all those stories about like, am I worthy, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. The Green Lanterns are a little different because they're like a police unit, right? Like they're a military. So you can have a bunch of captains or sergeant majors, right? Like private first class. So when you get a new Green Lantern, those are all fine too. I've never had a problem with having more Green Lanterns because
that's fine. As long as they're good characters, that's all that matters to me. And as long as you utilize them properly, which means don't have them all in the same place all the time. Like you gotta spread them out, right?
Yeah. There was that little moment like during the War of Light stuff, like right after the New 52, where they all had their little niches and it was good, and then they just farted it all away for no reason. But, yeah, so that's a good lead-in from Clone Geek over there. We'll go from such a damn good DC. Oh, I guess this is DC's issue too, huh? I just realized of Superman, of the crossover, because it is Superman, Spider-Man, not Spider-Man, Superman. So, let me grab some water. It's fucking hot in Arizona, guys. I don't recommend it. We were not meant to live here.
That's not meant to be a hospitable place.
It's
for human beings.
We literally have a place called like Death Valley. I know it's partially in California too, but like, why did we decide that's where we want to build a bunch of houses? Anyway,
We're
humans. But that's what we think. However, we've got the two people here who think the complete. I don't know. That's a really bad segue. I don't know how I'm setting this up, guys. We are here with Superman Spider-Man, the latest crossover out of Marvel and DC's renewed partnership, which, if you guys remember, started a couple years ago with a reprint of all of their crossover stuff, their amalgam, and then there's just their crossovers in omnibus form. Last year, we got a Deadpool Batman issue and a Batman Deadpool issue, one each from Marvel and DC. In case you guys need a quick reminder on how these work, both companies get to publish one issue of the crossover thing, and that respective publisher, their issue will be comprised of their talent, right? Like,
yeah.
So if you guys remember,
their writers and artists will do the creative work on that.
Exactly, because if you guys remember, we had over at Marvel, we had Zeb Wells and Greg Capullo, for example, on that main story. Then over at DC, we had Grant Morrison and Dan Mora on that main story. So also just to remind you guys, in case you're new here or if you forgot, those last issues or those two crossover issues there's one good issue there, and what am I trying to say here, Andrew? It's like you have enough content if you put those books together for one good issue and one bad issue.
So one of them, the main story, which was like 16 pages or something like that, was like really good, and then pretty much all the side stories that are much smaller thereafter were just kind of misses.
We were like,
and then the other one was the opposite case, where like the main story was a whiff, and
Big
then
whiff.
all of the smaller stories were like, wow, this was actually surprisingly good.
Green Lantern Rocket Raccoon still remains one of my favorite stories of all time.
It's really good.
What's an Infinity Gauntlet? Like, oh, so good. But if you guys remember, in that last issue, or in those last crossovers, it was the DC one that had the really good main story and the side stories. Here, DC's issue, where they're leading off again, I would say I liked every story here, actually. I can't think of one where I was like, meh.
The only one, I was meh on only one. And it was the Jimmy Olsen one.
I was gonna say it's the Jimmy one, isn't it? And we'll talk about that. That's the
only one where I was just kind of like, this is fine. Like, I'm not over the moon about it. I don't hate it, but it was just kind of like.
And I knew that was gonna be it, and I knew that was gonna be a point of discussion, because that's probably the most controversial. Like, they took a swing there, and I think we don't really see swings. Like, even though this is non-canon and out of continuity, it's still like, oh, you guys took a swing on that one. Like, ooh. So we'll get into it, but to start it off, let's see. I'll hold on to Clone Geek's comment, or I'll just bring it up now. Clone Geek says, I'm still iffy about Paul being used in the Power Girl story, though if Gale pointed out that both are the last survivors of their Earth, then that would be kind of something. We'll talk about it because, yes, in case you guys haven't seen the previews or the pages floating around, we do have a Paul appearance in this book. It is written by Gale, and we'll get into it. We'll get into all of these stories. But first, of course, we open with a beautiful cover by Jorge Jimenez, who...
Oh, gosh.
Did you see
that was my reader copy, is what that cover was. My copy that just went immediately inside the... Oh, you got the foot... Dude, I got to my shop.
What the hell? I've got to go back and get like 5 different covers for you. I'm going right after the show.
I only need the Sampier one. I only need the
Superboy
Prime and the black
suit. Do you know what show we're on right now? Do you know why we named it this?
Morris show.
No, it's the foil variant show. Go to hell. It's right. It's all our branding.
Oh gosh, that's too good.
Oh god, I threw that issue. I don't know where it went now. There it went.
Oh no. Careful with that. No, but like I get to my shop at it was almost like 5 o'clock. Actually, it was after 5. It was almost 6.
Dang.
And I get there, and all that was left was the main cover. So there were a handful of there were like 3 stacks of maybe, I want to say 8 issues of the main cover. Mm-hmm. And then there were 2 left of this. That's it. That's all that was on my store shelf by around 6 p.m. when I got there, and I
So,
was like, "Man," because the other one that I would have absolutely grabbed was the Superboy Prime
which
and
I'm gonna
Black
go
Suit
get
one.
you because, so it's funny because when you and I did the dance for the Batman, Deadpool, Batman, both of our
Mhm.
so you go later and I go right when my shop opens because my shop's way smaller, barely gets things. Do the Momoko Wars, right? Where it's me and one
Oh
other
gosh,
person,
yeah.
and they only
Yeah,
order like
the
one
Peach Wars.
Momoko copy, like of any cover. So
You gotta be
last
Fruit
time
Ninja over there
you
with the
and I,
peach covers.
yeah, no, it's like it's war. I gear up. I put on the what is that? The camo face paint. Wow, that joke didn't
Mhm.
work. But with those last issues, you and I were like, all right, we have to organize. Like, did you see it? Do you have that one? Okay, I have this one. And you and I were like, we had to be because they ordered the covers, but not a lot, right? Like
Yeah.
in abundance, you could still get the issue, but it wouldn't be pretty much any of the covers we wanted. You'd be
With
getting
those
the
one, we were kinda with those ones, we were kinda like Tetrising, like,
yeah,
your shop didn't have a couple of the ones that you wanted, but mine did,
and
but
then
your shop had a couple of the ones that I wanted,
yup.
but
So
mine
we were like,
didn't.
okay, I have this one, and I have that one. And so with this one, I was actually thinking because like, okay, I'm going to my shop when it opens. I know that, if this is limited, I'll get Andrew his things. It's not a
Mhm.
big deal. I went in and at open, they had all of like the standard retail covers. They had probably about 5 issues, like 5 each of all of them. But then like the J. Scott Campbell, the foil, and then this one that I grabbed, the Ivan Tolero one, they had like
That's a good one.
rows back of like the J. Scott
Really?
Campbell one was like falling off. And I remember because
So
I thought to
they
myself, I was
overordered
like,
'cause they knew people wanted them.
I was like, smart. You guys are
Yeah.
so like that is what people are gonna want. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna go right after the show to get that because I know it's gonna be there for you. Like
Mhm.
it. So yeah, but yes, Jorge Jimenez, amazing artist. Just give him. This is your Superman artist now. I really don't
He's
care.
so good,
like
dude.
I
He's so freaking good, it's ridiculous.
Superman, Justice League. Did you see Did you see he dressed up again? Like yesterday?
He dressed up as Spidey, yeah, I saw that.
And he's like handsome as shit, and it's just like, oh, that's not Jorge, like that's just Spider-Man. Oh, look at me, I'm Jorge Jimenez. I'm an amazing artist. I'm hot as hell. My wife is hot as hell.
And I'm a
like,
handsome and strapped dude. I got a hot wife. Like, and I'm
Go.
a talented as crap artist. Like,
get the
dude,
hell
go
out
away.
of here. Yeah, like just
But I
get
take it
out
back.
of here.
Don't go away. Draw more comics.
No, yeah, come back and draw comics. Like, you bastard. It's just like, how dare you, Jorge? But
Yeah.
yes, amazing standard A cover. I really liked a lot of the covers we got with this one. I know
There were some really great ones.
I had to be a little bit smarter because of current financial situations.
$9 a pop,
and
for the
that's
variants.
the big thing too. It's like, dude,
and that's
I
not
can't...
counting the foil ones. Like, how much were the foil ones?
Well, that one was standard. Luckily, like it was just cover.
Really,
price.
that was only $7.99.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, that's
genuinely
wild.
surprising.
I know,
because it's also a virgin, isn't it?
Yep, virgin foil.
That's
But
wild.
I
because
think...
the normal one's $7.99, and then all the other variants that I saw were $8.99. So that's
I
like
think...
almost $10 a pop.
I think they get away with it.
If you try to get with all the covers that they had, imagine being the guy that wants to collect every cover for this. Just on this book alone, you're dropping more than $100.
Oh,
that's
I mean,
crazy.
And that's not even getting into like the comic shop exclusive, like the Unknown Comics or
like the retailer exclusives.
Yeah, dude, where there's some really good ones, but who's like Ki Young Jun or whoever, he draws a lot of like the sexy Poison Ivy covers and stuff. He did one that is Superwoman Lois and Jackpot Mary Jane, and it looks great. I'm not paying $50 for it. Like I can't pay $50. I just not doing it.
Almost. So I feel like this has become more and more the norm. I got an email. What was it today? No, not today. Yesterday on actual Wednesday. For J. Scott Campbell's shop, because he put up a certain number of his cover, but signed with the COA, right? And it was only like, I think it was like $36 or something. And I was like, I'll grab that. Hell yeah. Typical thing that's happened very frequently lately with basically every single J. Scott Campbell thing I've tried to get. You know,
Did he do that?
I add it to my cart. I go to check out. This item is no longer available.
I genuinely don't know why there isn't like cart protections on so many of these sites, right? Like,
yeah,
there are some sites I know I've used where it's like you add it and it's like, okay, we've got your cart for 10 minutes, right? And cool, awesome. But a lot of these places are, you know, okay, I'm in. Oops, I accidentally refreshed. It's all gone. Like, right, like it's not in your cart anymore. And it's really, really bad. It's really dumb and I hate it. And I'm not surprised with J. Scott. I thought you were going to be like, oh, he did another stupid bundle thing. So instead of just 40, I had to get cover A and D, which is like 90. And I was going to be like, yeah, that's Scott for you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, this is what he does nowadays.
Thankfully that wasn't a thing. I wish that the and this is weird because I really like Philip Tan's art. I don't hate, but I also don't love his retailer exclusive variant for this book. I feel like there's just something missing from it for me. I like the angle for Julia Carpenter there, and I'm a Julia Carpenter guy.
Yeah.
Like I like Julia Carpenter way more than I like Jessica Drew. Jessica Drew's fine. But like and part of it's because I just love that suit design. It's
I
so
do too.
cool.
I'm right there with you. I love
and I think
Arachne is what she goes by now.
Yeah. And I think
That's fine.
Supergirl conceptually looks really great, but the angle that she is at doesn't match the angle from the camera that we're looking at Julia.
Yes.
And that throws me off and bothers the crap out
Don't
of me.
worry, guys.
because
I'm pulling it
like
up so you guys can see what we're talking about. Because I know what you're talking about, but
there are two different like perspectives happening on this cover. And I'm like, Philip, like your art is actually so freaking good.
like, why couldn't you have gone?
It feels like you were composing for two different covers here.
And I'm not a fan of the way he did her eyes because like Arachne's eyes, because
they look like they're kind of drooped.
They're drooped, and then like even if she put her face up like eye level, yeah, they'd be like that solid like cut line there for her, almost like the Sydney Sweeney costume in the movie, which is pretty good. Right. But like that mask part specifically, you and I were like, what'd you guys do there? Like, you messed that up. That was really weird.
You done goofed.
But yeah, I saw that one and I was like, oh, Andrew's gonna love it. And then I looked at it and I was like, there's too much weird here, and it feels too rough. And it's just,
it was a little bit of a miss, unfortunately.
It's not a great one. Which is too damn bad. But hey, that means we get to save some money. I mean, it was already
to save $10,
dude. It was already a loaded week. I mean, I had to get you had standard issues. You had your side dimensional rival. You had your Infinity Roar. You had your Ultimate Endgame. You had Ultimates that I had to pick up from last week. Mega Man I had to pick up from last week. Superman.
Oh, there was a new Mega Man last week?
Yeah, Mega Man X #2. 0 on the cover.
Oh crap! I'll have to check my shop.
You might.
Is that?
That's gonna be like that. Is
was
one
that
where it's
from
like,
last week?
Last week, yeah. Not
okay,
this week.
I was. I didn't make it to my shop last
and then
week because I had Orlando.
I didn't make it because I didn't like. There was kind of nothing. I was like, cover A's is what I want. All right, I'll just pick it up later. But then and then the glow in the dark Kyle Rayner cover, which wish it was a different suit, but it's really. I was gonna say
cool. I don't like that suit.
Hate
but
this suit.
Conceptually, a glow in the dark cover really works for Green Lantern.
And I wish I could take a good picture of it, and I'll try to show like you and then everybody else the way it just looks really, really good. They knocked it out of the park with this one, just like they knocked it out of the park with Superman, Spider-Man. Look at that. We're back into it. We rolled right into that. So just like last time, this is a main story with a bunch of additional stories tacked on, or not tacked on, but on offer afterwards. So I did edit our little upload here to put on some of the better covers that you and I liked from this issue. Obviously,
I really love that cover because that's a throwback to the old, the original Spider-Man and Superman crossover.
Yep,
right?
Where Spidey's on like the radio tower and Superman's like flying up. I also like that it's got that Dark Knight lightning bolt in the back, not because it's a Dark Knight, but it's playing into that whole like edgy 80s thing that they get into with Spider-Man suit and everything.
With these two characters.
Yes, exactly. Like, big fan of this one. Also, Sampier, please free him from Tom King. Like, he doesn't need to be attached there anymore. It really
Dude,
bums me out.
free him from Tom King. Free I think Belen Ortega,
Oh my,
has been
yes,
strapped
Belen.
to,
Oh, I
and
feel
she
so
is
bad for
so
her.
freaking good.
I love.
Like, she is incredible.
She's incredible
She
as an
has
artist and a good personality. Like, she's fun to like follow and see be like at cons. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like Belen a lot.
I just and I'll tell you later, but I just found out she actually has a DC exclusive contract
Really?
right now. But
The Tom
like,
King minds.
they keep throwing her Tom King, and it's like, she's so good. Give her to anybody else.
We want Daniel and her and Belen to have like a career, so please put them in books that people actually want to read, that people are actually gonna pick up, and not Tom King. Wonder Woman's gonna murder you now. Edition. Just get out of here. But we have the Daniel Sampier cover, obviously the J. Scott one, which how could you not have gotten it? You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, Supergirl, Andrew's in, it's done. Then we have, the Ivan Tolero one that I grabbed with the Felicia and the Power Girl, which is just beautiful in its painting. I don't know, I just really like it. And so those are probably the 4 highlight covers. Pretty much you can't go wrong with any of them. All of them are really good for this one. But I'd say those were the 4 big highlights. So from there, let's finally get into the main event. We start off with Mark Waid and Jorge Jimenez's main story, which begins with, we open on Doc Ock. He is working in his lab. He is working with an AI, and he's, just a basic phone AI. And he's kind of like just trying to boost, like, what do you say?
He's essentially doing the mirror, mirror on the wall thing.
Yeah,
he's doing
with
it with
the AI
and
thing.
asking the mirror or the AI, about like intellect, right?
Yes.
As opposed to physical beauty, because nobody's
nobody's looking for
making
him
that
for that.
argument for Otto, at least anymore, right?
I was gonna say, in his Peter body,
Superior Spider-Man,
yep.
Like, he was a strapping dude. Like, he actually, he doesn't
even
look
that
like
clone body, like
he
that
doesn't look like a thumb anymore, right? Like,
like the. Look, I love the bowl cut though. I'm really glad they went back to that when they put him back into the chubby body. I didn't like it, but at least they brought the bowl cut back. But Doc Ock is here. He's asking, who's the leader in cybernetics? And I like this because the AI goes, thinking, according to online sources, Dr. William Magnus, who, if you guys remember, that's the creator of the Metal Men. And he goes, no. What about radiation? And the AI goes, well, that's Dr. Banner. And he goes, no. Like, whatever. Like, who cares? Nobody will ever recognize Doc Ock's genius. And just as he starts bitching to himself, the AI, quote unquote, comes online, and it reveals itself as Brainiac. And from there, we cut over to Peter and Clark, who are on a, how do you put, like, they're not officially on assignment. They're looking into a recent break-in using the cover of their press credentials, right? Clark being of the Planet, Peter at the Bugle, which, I don't know, man. Like, this is such a good quintessential Peter, Clark. Like, you can obviously see the Christopher Reeve in the Clark there. You can see the
100%.
the Ditko in the Peter there. Like, this is what I mean. Like, Jimenez knows how to draw all of these characters, and it is
Jimenez is so ridiculously talented. He's so good. Like, I look forward, even though Fraction has been doing a really good job for the most part. There've been a couple of things on his Batman run that I'm like, I don't know about that. But like, overall, he's telling a really good story and a really interesting story.
Yes.
But Jimenez's art has been on freaking point every single
on
issue.
fire. And you see it here. And even aside from the art, right? Like, you can tell Waid really gets these characters too, because
Waid understands superheroes.
He understands like the earnestness, the humanity of them. I mean, I'm just putting hats on hats here. You really summed it up. Like, he gets superheroes, and it all feels casual. It all feels like we were talking about earlier. There's no mocking. It's all really just tight and
none
good.
of it also feels like this thing that people who try to pretend to understand superheroes do a lot in the writing. And I've seen this a lot, both in the mainstream and elsewhere, where they'll actually write characters in a very Silver Age way where they're over
Mm.
explaining or they're being incredibly obvious and they're not talking like how people talk. That was one
They
of the big differences from Silver Age to Bronze
yes.
Age, where in the Bronze Age, characters actually started talking like humans speak with each other for the most part. You'd still have your outliers, sure, but like in the Silver Age, like you look at that and you're like, people don't talk like that to each other,
Oh
right?
no, he busted down the door. You guys surround him. I'll get
Well,
away. Like nobody
well,
talks
it
like
was
that.
yeah,
Like
it was this thing where, and I actually had this conversation with some people recently where one of the issues that I have and what makes it so hard to go back and reread Golden Age and Silver Age comics, even while still appreciating
oh yeah.
what they did, what makes it so difficult is that dialogue because what they'll do is in a sequential art medium where the art is supposed to be doing a good portion of the storytelling, you'll have dialogue where the character's describing exactly what we're already seeing in the panel. And it's like, I'm not, I can be kind of retarded. I'm not that retarded
I can
where I
follow
need a character
picture to
to,
picture.
yeah, I can follow the picture. Okay, guys. Like I read Bernstein Bears. I got this. Like I don't need
But
the
see,
characters
you
in the
needed to
panel
make
to be
it worth
telling me,
you needed to be worth your nickel back in the day. All right. You needed
man,
to
it's
cram those words in there. But you are
it's rough.
there's a charm to it that I like, and I think that's what those writers that you're talking about try to like notch onto, right? Because
When
there was
it's
a
done in earnestness and it's very deliberately trying to capture that,
that's
I can
different. Yeah.
respect it. But there's so often people who just don't know how to do dialogue, and instead they default to just telling the
Telling you
reader exactly what
everything.
they're already seeing via the art. And therefore, it's redundant information because you're already getting the information. You're just getting it without words. If you are getting the
Take them together.
information without words, then whatever you are saying in that panel doesn't need to be something that gives you that same information. It should be giving you information that you're not seeing.
So I was recently rereading through the original Maximum Carnage series, and that's straight out of the '90s. One thing I
played the crap out of that Super
think
Nintendo game.
that freaking game, dude, it still makes me mad. But Venom doesn't move like you think Venom would move. Anyway, rereading that, one thing I like, it does a lot, and I remembered yada yada, is that in those moments when you've got Peter, swinging off to go find Carnage or whatever, you get in the action that he's swinging, maybe Venom's with him, Cloak and Dagger, you get all of his allies there. A lot of times those scenes will be used to have Peter like, oh, okay, now we're off to find Carnage. I know it was rough back there, saving Cloak and Dagger from him, but now I've got them on my side, and they kind of recap everything that might have happened in the last couple issues. And I like it because it's a very natural recap, because it just kind of sounds like somebody going over everything in their head. Like, okay, cool, got them, we're going to go do this now, yada, yada. It's not, like you said, they don't make a scene out of it, if you will. So, yeah, Wade, with that knowledge, like, he doesn't do that. He slides right. He trusts you enough to not only follow the story, but know the general, like, pop cultureness of these characters, right? Yeah. He doesn't need to. For example, right here, Peter opens up, says, "Thanks again for the lift, Clark. I'm so broke, a guy stole my identity and then begged me to take it back." Boom. Doesn't have to harp on you're a loser. Doesn't have to, oh, my camera broke and I couldn't make it. And Aunt May, doesn't have to do that. It's a quick, simple.
It gives you just enough to give you a snapshot and a kind of cross section of Peter's current status in life, right? Which is perpetually garbage.
Which is so awful.
Financial situation, right? Can we please let Peter evolve past that?
Nope.
Eventually,
this will be the most evolution we get anywhere. So from there,
and then Jorge, we talk about Dan Morrow women all the time. Dude. Can we talk about Jorge Jimenez women for a moment here?
I mean, we've talked a lot about what's her name back over like Dr.
and Batman,
Zeller, Dr. Zeller.
Yeah.
Like yes, but I will say to you and to everybody watching, like, that third panel, that woman does something to me. Like, it is an incredibly sexy, simple image, but like the way Jimenez draws these women, I don't know, he's really good about it. He almost draws it in it's a stylistic pinup almost, right? Like, I think I look at her and I think of like Dr. Zeller. They wear like heels a lot, and they're they've got the
They'll
Yeah,
have like the pencil skirt.
yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. And the tighter blouse a little bit, but it's never like egregious. Just like, oh, you're there to be horny, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
you're not a they're not what we would call cheesecake artists, right?
yes,
And
exactly.
not that there's anything necessarily
No,
wrong with that, but that has its place and it has its pockets, whether it's on a variant cover or whether it's interiors for a particular book. But that's not what these books are, and it's not what
no,
these books should be. But artists like Jorge Jimenez know how to take the things that work about the pinup model like idea and
and
apply that in a way to where you're making the female form still very sexy without being hypersexualized, if that makes
yeah,
sense,
yeah. No, that makes a complete
right?
sense. It reminds me of that old, art idiom, which is like art is as much about the lines you don't draw as the lines you do
Mhm.
draw. Like you have to think about what to leave out. Remember, guys, images are to communicate messages, right? And
Yeah.
so Scott McCloud in his fantastic Understanding Comics, I'm sure, I don't even know if anybody recommends that text anymore. That was foundational when I was getting into comics. Everybody would
Mhm.
say read it. But he has a whole bit where it's like, okay, I could draw a super hyper realistic face or I could draw a smiley face. All humans know like this is a human face, but they're for different contexts, right? Like
Mhm.
you don't want to put the smiley face on a big old Hollywood, green, like big blockbuster movie. You can't just have the CGI thing be a smiley face. Counterpoint, you can't have Nick Jr. just being super hyper realistic
Yeah.
actors all the time. You got to know what style you're using to communicate all of this. And yeah, Jorge locks in.
And
It
he
reminds me,
communicates it through body,
it's a
through imagery, through like positioning of the body.
like
Like look,
yes,
the way that she's standing very confidently, and even she's even wearing a lab coat, but her figure is still accentuated. And
yes,
part of it is the way that her legs are. So she has that back leg
like
kind of cocked
yeah, the
back,
cockpit. Yep,
almost the double jointed stance of the way that the knee is bent almost in the wrong way, you
which is
know?
like that's actually just like how we stand. Like that's how our legs actually go, guys. It's weird to
Yeah.
like look at it in a mirror, but our legs do curve slightly back.
Yeah, they'll bow just a little bit.
Not
Unless you've
full
got
like what
something wrong with your legs, please see a physical therapist or
Darth
something
Maul
if you.
style, right? Get your
Yeah,
spider wheelchair thing.
yeah.
But no, I also like I just one last stamp on it because it came to me. It's like I get a lot of the Justice League animated like women out of
Mm.
his women, right? Which are drawn in that like, all the Paul Dini style is like fat ass hips, tiny waist,
Oh yeah.
baboom chest.
I
And
mean, Paul Dini, like his women are like quintessential hourglass,
right.
right?
And but like so we can see Wonder Woman is sexy, but he doesn't in the cartoon, like he doesn't overly do it to where it's like,
Right.
oh, like you were naked when
It-
you were drawing this, right? Like
right.
it's just like, yeah, we know Wonder Woman's
Crap.
sexy. Let us continue, right? Like that's what
Yeah.
we do. So just shout out to Jorge here. But basically, what they learn is that what they were working on in this lab is basically something called fast neurons, which is a way to transmit information faster than on Wi-Fi signals. It's a real
Mhm.
thing. Which
It
shout
is.
out to Wade. I like this. It reminds me of his old Flash run where you would learn something, right? It's not like
Yeah.
he's sitting down to teach you a lesson,
He'll play with actual science.
right? And he won't harp on it, but it makes you go like, oh, what's fast neurons? I'd look into that, and
Yeah.
you go into it, right? So I feel like a lot of comics don't do that, and I was really appreciative of that. But they learn that the regular material that they use to make these neurons, they were working with a different source, which was kryptonite. Surprise! This, of course, alerts Peter and Clark, and they're like, "Oh, we've got to get out of here. Like, we have to go now." And we get this amazing scene where they both know each other's identities, so they're like, "All right, we got to go." And Clark is on a mission, and he's up and away, and Pete's just, "Wait a minute, wait! I gotta like put on everything. Like, what are we doing?" Classic them, right? Kind of what Andrew was saying, where we know just enough, and then we're taking the rest of what we all collectively know from pop culture, and it's hitting that like right spot. From there, up into the sky, I bet you're not this impatient with Batman. Jorge again, just murdering it. Just so
He's killing it.
Specifically, like the arm up pose. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how many people can make that look good. Like, it's hard to make look good. Yeah, and Jorge here nails it. So, whoop. I hit the wrong buttons for everything. So from there, we recheck in with our villains. Doc Ock is teaming up with Brainiac. Brainiac has a mind virus that's in his system. It's corrupting him. And basically he wants to offload it onto a different, host computer. In his weird brain, he goes, we're going to transfer this virus from me onto the population of Earth. That's what we're going to do. And Doc Ock agrees, because if he does this, everybody will know him, right? Everybody will know Doc Ock. Finally, his name will be out there. Nobody will be ungrateful. And then he also gets to go explore and go do space science with Brainiac. From there, we check back in with the heroes. Because of what they're working with like this kryptonite-infused Wi-Fi, essentially, we get a really interesting scenario where Clark is being affected just by being in Metropolis by kryptonite, but not enough to actually disable him. But he's clearly in distress a lot. On this page, he can't fly for a second. We'll see him struggle a little bit more as we keep going. That line by
Peter was really great. I thought you and Gravity had an arrangement.
Had an arrangement. I kind of miss this Pete who, I don't remember the last time we had casual joking Pete. It feels like when we get jokes in the current series, and maybe Joe's probably a little bit better about it, but otherwise, it feels like they're making it almost like, say your catchphrase, Spider-Man, right? Which is make a joke, Spider-Man.
Say the thing. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just okay, he said it. Whatever.
Yeah.
But here, he really feels like it's quippy little Peter. So yeah, the mind virus starts infecting everybody. So we get a couple pages here of Superman and Spider-Man just flying through the city, trying to save everyone, trying to find where the signal is coming from. They do at the last second, or not at the last second. As they're going through the city trying to save everybody, Superman's powers are continually going down. He's getting weaker. But eventually he sees the device. He uses his X-ray vision. He sees, I see the device. We got to go get it. But even Spider-Man's like, are you really okay to fly? You're really weak here. Luckily, just enough power to fly up into the atmosphere and break into Brainiac's ship, where he goes face to face with a kryptonite-infused Doc Ock, which honestly kind of pretty cool. But this reminds me, we saw this in Venom a second ago. Remember? With the Ed McGuinness art when he fought Agent Flash and everything. It's not the same, but the whole green, gooey, see-through arms that he has now, same sort of effect. But who am I to hate on, a glowing effect? I'm all about that. So we get Peter or Clark versus Doc Ock, and then Spider-Man versus Brainiac, which I really like this exchange here, because Brainiac goes Octavius, I sensed a hole breach. What is it? And he looks up and he goes, Spider-Man. And Pete goes, yes, I know. Wait, who are you? And I'm really good. So Pete just tries to fight Brainiac. Brainiac gets a temporary upper hand on him. But as they start clocking each other, we get a really cool little bit where Clark goes, why are you doing this, Doc Ock? I remember writing the first article on you. You were supposed to be the next Einstein. And Ock goes oh, you remember that, which is a good little continuity, because that's how you get, that's how you get to Doc Ock. He's so vain. That's you're hitting that right spot.
He's incredibly vain.
The most. So from there, Pete puts Brainiac down, but with Brainiac realizing that he's sort of, on the back foot, he decides he's just going to bring the whole satellite down around them. So he whips out all the supports. That leaves him, out. He transfers his consciousness, but now Pete is stuck under all of this rubble. As he's stuck under this rubble, Superman is fighting Doc Ock, and they realize that the Brainiac ship is now careening down towards Metropolis. But because it's still emitting the kryptonite Wi-Fi, Supes doesn't have enough power to, he can't stop it. It's just right there. Spidey, you need to turn off the device. You're our last hope. Of course, in classic Spidey fashion, that's when he runs out of web fluid, which I'm just like, yep, that's
Horrible timing.
good old Pete. But we get, it's a bit of a greatest hits, but it kind of works where Superman's like, you know what, I need you, Pete. And Pete goes, oh, this isn't the first time, Spidey, you've been under rubble. And we get a little recreation of, what is that, Amazing Spider-Man 50, 51, where he's trying to save Aunt May. You know, throws off the giant wreckage of the Brainiac ship, throws the switch, Superman saves the day. We get one of the best just shots. Just like Superman being Superman.
It's kind of a recreation of one of Jimenez's most famous Superman shots.
Which one?
I'll send it to you.
Okay, good. You know which one
I have it. I have it because I have like all of my favorite Superman shots on my phone here.
Definitely. As everybody should. Get your art references, get your style references, your aesthetic references. But while Andrew pulls that up, also just note, I love, Superman's doing his Superman thing, but Pete there, he smiles like one breath of like, oh, we did it. Like, oh my God, which is like, that's
and
Pete.
Then he passes out and he's like, I'm done.
He's like, yep, we did it. All right, I'm going to go take a nap for like 9 years. Did it pull up? Oh yeah, this one. Yep. What was this for? Was this just a cover?
I think it was just a cover, yeah.
That's wild. From background that, yeah, such a good piece though. I love how he does like the straight like color into the like boots to show. So good. That's that manga, that's that anime in him. But with that, oh dude, did you see that? Just like the way it fades into each other. If I get,
it's almost a perfect transition.
If I get it like lined up right there, you do that, and you go boom. Oh, beautiful. But with that, I do like this little part here because day's over. They arrest Doc Ock. Pete is he sells his photos to Perry for the Daily Planet. And
Perry actually gives him good money for them.
Actual money, where Pete's like so many zeros, right? And I like this because Pete goes, or Clark, all during their adventure has been a little like, not like off with Pete, but just a little like something's on his mind. So Pete's like, all right, what's on your mind? Like, what is eating you? And Clark goes, I don't get it. You spent years selling pictures to Jameson when all he does is like lie about you and peddle fake like stories. Why wouldn't you, sell to the planet or another place? And he goes, well, first, the only person it really matters to is like me. Nobody cares if he calls Spider-Man a menace because nobody really believes it. But then he goes, second, you're missing the punchline, Clark. All this time, Jameson was paying Spider-Man to go to college. And we get that good little break from Clark there, that Christopher Reeve smile of just like, you're right. And so they go, all right, how about you take me back to New York? Let's get out of here. And he goes, all right, why not? And Spidey goes, before we get out of here, how about a little tour of Metropolis? And Superman goes, it's the least I can do. How about we start at the Superman Museum? And, Pete's just like, are you kidding me? Oh yeah, because like a second ago, Pete's like, oh, it must be nice to operate in a city that loves you. And so then Clark drops, there's a Superman Museum. And he's like, are you serious? Like, what are we doing here? I hate it here.
That was great.
It's a great little ending. But yeah, kind of like what we said last time, this does exactly what it needs to do, right? You introduce our characters. You don't over-introduce them. You don't have to sit there and go, he's from a planet. You don't need to give us their origins.
Exactly. And all that. Yeah, like if somebody's picking this book up, they know what Peter Parker's origin is, and they know what Clark's origin is.
And right? I really like that they did it in the last couple crossovers, but there's no, whoa, why are our worlds crossing over? We're kind of operating in that original Superman, Spider-Man continuity where they're just the same world. We're just
assuming that they're part of the world.
They're the same world, right? Which is, I really like that. We're not wasting any time here.
This is all non-continuity anyway.
Yeah.
So just like have fun with it. You don't need to add another layer of complication.
You don't need to open the door to show up in a crisis or something, right?
Because it's not like Metropolis is supposed to be New York anyway, right? So
no,
let's uncomplicate things, right? Make it as simplistic as necessary, and then just tell a fun story. And that's exactly what Wade and Jimenez did.
And they nailed it. Like, Wade and Jimenez are a great team. I mean, Wade
This
and
was
Mora, Wade
already
and
the
Jimenez,
best
like
of the 3 like main stories for these crossovers so far.
I mean, Clone Geek over here, where did he say it? Yeah, he said straight up, like, this issue is the strongest of the 3 issues so far. And I'm torn because, like, yes, but if you have that, like, one perfect issue with the Grant story and then all those backups,
Right, that's
like,
the thing,
that's
right?
a
There's
good
caveat.
one.
There's an
That's a
asterisk,
really good one.
there, right? Because, like, if you took the Morrison one for the main story and then added that to the other crossover issues, like side stories, you'd have a Batman Deadpool crossover issue on par with this one.
Yes, on par is probably like the best descriptor for it. So by technicality, or I guess not technicality, by reality, Clone Geek, yeah, I agree with you. But I guess by technicality, there's some competition. But from there, with our main story having gotten out of the way, we dive into a collection of about, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different short mini stories, if you will. An anthology of different team ups. So let's jump into them. There's some surprises here. There's some, actually, like, surprises is probably the best way to put it, as we flip into, well, first, amazing recreation. Like, this is what I mean. Like, Jimenez, you are our Superman artist now. Like, don't let anybody else draw Superman. This is just fantastic. But from this recreation, we go into our first sub story, which comes to us from Tom King and Jim Lee, of all people, going back to the fact that they keep giving Tom King really good artists.
I wonder how long ago Jim Lee had to start this in order to
I'm
finish
sure
these, 8 pages.
Probably, like, back when they announced that it was all happening, back at, like, the Comics Pro event, where nobody knew about it for like 4 more months, because nobody but us listens to those, like what comes out of those meetings. So
based on, and this isn't necessarily meant to be like a dig at Jim Lee. He's one of the best to ever do it, right?
And he's busy as shit. He
is
DC,
incredibly busy to the point where he should not be doing interiors anymore because of like all the other obligations that he has. That being said, I chuckled when I was flipping through this because his art's really solid in this. Like, it's really good.
It's good Jim too. He's not doing his 7, I have 3 poses. Here's one of them.
It's not lazy Jim or like, I need to just churn this out. It's also not peak Jim, but it's still good Jim. And I was laughing because I was like, so I wonder, like, was he finishing a page a month with this? Like, what was the output here?
Right? Like, I almost feel like he was doing this, and then he's like, oh, this is fun to draw again. Yeah, I'll do another mini series. And they went, oh, wait, I forgot what it's like to draw monthly. I hate this.
I do like that he leaned into more classic MJ. Like from her earlier appearance, she's got the black tank top, right, and the jeans. That's quintessential
I
classic
like,
MJ. Super dark red hair.
The dark red hair is a really good throwback.
With the bangs.
Because if you guys remember, I actually have it right here. That's how they used to do MJ's hair back in the day.
Yep.
Was pure black, but with a little bit of red highlights there.
With red highlighting,
so,
and
really
with
good
the
on
bangs
Lee.
hanging down. Right,
just like
that's not how she's drawn for the most part anymore. Like, she's drawn with more bright red hair, like tomato red hair.
Like in Gomez's art, she's got really bright. Yeah, tomato red is the perfect descriptor for it.
And Campbell also, whenever he does covers and stuff like that with MJ on him, like, he has a completely different way of doing her hair.
He goes, his color is still a little darker, but it's not as like black. It's more of the red than the black, but it's a little darker. But yeah, this is definitely your quintessential 70s, 80s, I'd say probably in the late 80s, 90s, when she gets her curly hair, that's when the black stops. Yeah. Because now her hair is like big and poofy, and you got to emphasize
because that was the 90s, right? Like,
right, exactly.
The 90s and late 80s, where it's just like all the hot babes in comics had the big hair.
That's what you needed, right? But what we get out of Tom... before we get into it, the other thing I was going to say to that is, to Tom King's credit, that era, because you're saying like it's a throwback to that old MJ, are taking place sort of in that era, right? We've got the classic MJ, we've got the classic Lois even with like the short hair. And I know Rachel, what's her name? Or Brosnanen, whatever. She wore the outfit in the new movie, but like this sweater
she
vest,
wore the
or like
classic outfit.
Yeah, she wore the classic outfit. That didn't start with her. That's like back here, Lois. So what we get from Tom King's story here, we're not going to like sit here and go through every dialogue box, because if you guys remember from the last anthology stories, it's not a lot of like bit by bit chunks. It's sort of an overall thing that we can take away from this. But we, so Tom King delivers a story. That's really, okay. I just got distracted because up there, Spidey is not, his fingers aren't out. Like his thumbs aren't out. The way Jim drew it.
Oh,
like, in.
He's doing this instead of this.
Yeah. And that's why I paused right there and I like farted, because I'm like, wait, what? From Jim?
I didn't notice
of all people, Jim, until right now. Yeah, right? Like I didn't either. But weird. So I guess we were just praising Jim too for like, oh look, you were on it, man, and not there. But what Tom King, who, if you guys know, if you remember, we're not a fan around here. He writes really, really bad books, whether it's Wonder Woman, whether it's Human Target, whether it's Batman, whether it's Superman, whatever he's on.
Whether it's Heroes in Crisis.
No, we don't talk about that here. Get him out of here. Get him banned. But to Tom King, terrible writer, he does deliver for him a serviceable story where we have MJ and Lois, basically a bridge is going out. There's a whole thing happening. Lois and MJ leapt into action as they were in their like taxis going somewhere. MJ do a photo shoot because she's a model still here, and Lois to an interview. And all of a sudden, bridge starts going out, and this bus is about to go over the edge. So they rush into action and get the kids out of this bus and all the people. But now they're trapped here. And now that they're in this bus, they have a nice little conversation. And to King's credit, I like sort of the setup here, right? Like, it's Lois, it's MJ. They leapt into action. Yes, they're in a bus dangling off the side. How many times have they been here? They know what's going to happen.
The amount of times that Lois had been like tossed over, fallen over the side of a building, or, you know, MJ over a bridge or something similar, you know, combine the two, I think they can account for the rest of the population.
Honestly, like they do it twice before breakfast every day.
Right.
So while they're trapped in this scenario, Clark and Spider-Man are fighting a Sentinel, which has just started unleashing on the bridge, which, shout out to Jim, he remembered that Sentinels are supposed to have numbers on them, which is genuine, like, holy... Yes, of course that man worked on X-Men in the 90s.
I was going to say, like, he remember, right? Because of how long he worked on X-Men. Like, he's part of one of the most seminal runs of X-Men in the title's history.
Right. Like, he's going to remember how to draw. And he was the definitive artist for it, right? He's like, I remember what Sentinels looked like. I know what I'm doing here.
Like, when you think of Jim, despite the fact that he's also drawn other things, you don't remember him for Batman. You don't really remember him for Superman, even though he has great work on Superman.
And Hush is like an amazing story. Like, maybe not amazing story, but like
Hush is a
popular
solid story with amazing art, and it's easy to read for newcomers.
Yeah,
that's
a good way to put it.
It's an easy recommend for people who are like, I'm new to comics. What's a easy Batman story to read, right? You can give them Hush.
Boom.
You can give them Hush easily and not even have to worry about it, right? You know, despite the fact that story-wise it's questionable,
that's to say the least.
Art in Superman Unchained is really freaking good. The art in where is it? Superman For Tomorrow. Is really good, despite the story being kind of like,
which is, I was going to comment on that, which is like, I can't believe they were like, okay, because Brian Azzarello was over on that Superman one while Loeb was on Hush, and you had Leon both, so it's like you get that sort of definitive new reader, like microcosm of Batman story over there in Hush, and then like, and like you said, it's perfect for new readers. And you go over to like For Tomorrow.
For Tomorrow is like one of the most inaccessible, like,
if
this is the first Superman book you pick up, I am sorry, because you have no idea what's happening.
No idea what's happening. I don't even know how much more to add to that. It's like you open it. I was a seasoned comic reader,
but the story, you're like, I remember picking this up initially and being like, yeah, I love Jim Lee art, right? And I hadn't read this in its single issue form when it was coming out. And I'm like, oh, let's check it out. And I was like, I am lost. What is happening?
I remember, and like, what blows my mind is like they always put those two pieces together, right? Like the Batman on the gargoyle and then the Superman on the Daily Planet.
Where they could not be more different from each other in terms of how accessible those stories are.
It's just so wild. It's just so night and day. But yeah, you do remember throughout all that, Jim Lee was X-Men. You think of that X-Men number 1 cover.
You remember Jim Lee as an X-Men artist.
You remember that shot of like Magneto in an energy field, like while Cyclops is blasting him from cover number 6 over there.
Those connecting covers, man.
Which, did you know this? I think I showed you this years ago, but Dan Mora did a homage to that for Deceased, where all the DC characters are doing that against Darkseid. But it's on Deceased, and it's all their Deceased designs. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I could do it. You know what I mean? But
I don't know if I've seen it.
I'll show you. It's really, really freaking cool.
Yeah.
It's one of the pieces that made me go like, all right, Mora's on my radar now. Like, that's really, really cool.
It must be earlier Mora.
Oh, it's very early. Like, it's when he was still doing those covers for The Flash.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
It's like his second big assignment after that was these variant covers. But, so Tom King basically just delivers a story where MJ and Lois are casually, getting out of the bus. They're climbing down a web line, yada, yada, yada.
They're the focus of this short, essentially.
Yes, like, they are the focus.
And Superman are doing their thing in the background. But the focus of this short is MJ and Lois. And to the credit of the creative team, they do a decent job with it. This is like Tom King like tried to sound more human.
He really did.
And you can tell it's still like the dialogue still isn't perfect. A little bit of it is a little too robotic, but it's still, the interaction itself still feels more organic than I'm used to out of him. Yeah. And I actually, this page especially, I really enjoy the way that Lee laid it out with the vertical panels going down the left side of the page there, because they're climbing down.
They're climbing down the line. Yep.
I really enjoyed that bit. I was like, oh, that good choice, Lee. Good choice.
Oh, that's right. You do know what you're doing here, Lee.
Yeah, right.
But like that's the thing.
You got a month to do the page.
You better know what you're doing here. But yeah, like there are some. The overall story is kind of cute. It's just like Lois and Mary Jane being like, yeah, this is like, they're being very casual about their superhero life.
Almost as if like they deal with this on the regular, right?
Almost like that's, they're married to superheroes. But there are bits where you can tell, like, you can see the Tom King leaking through, and you can see what he was going for, but he can't land it right. Like, there's a line where it's talking about, like, behind, oh, look at the boys are off again. Well, behind every good superhero is, like, the woman keeping him straighter, which is like, okay, I can get that sentiment. And from those two, I can see them, playfully having it, but they said it in, like, the worst way. Right? In the most combative, like, dunk on him sort of way. And there's even like this moment right here on this page where MJ is like coming over the railing or whatever. And Pete's like, oh, I'm so worried about you. Like, if anything ever happened. And the way King is presenting it and the way he treats it afterwards is sort of like you're being hysterical. You need to chill out, dude. Like, MJ's like, yeah, dude, I'm fine. And it's like, okay, I know what you're going for. This isn't it. Like, you're not delivering it here. But I will say, again, the Lee art is great. I love that panel 3 down there at the bottom with Superman, like, scorching, like, the side of the Sentinel face. I feel like we don't see that a lot in either Superman or Sentinel fights. We get a fastball special here, which I'll give King credit. Superman chucks him at the Sentinel, and Spidey just bounces off, and he's like, ow! Like nothing happens to him. And, from there, the whole, Lois and MJ start going, well, why is there a Sentinel? Like, why? Like, Pete's not a mutant. Superman's not a mutant. Who could it be? And they realize, oh, one person, like the entire bridge is evacuated except one person. You have to have something to do with this. And the person goes
this actually caught me by surprise, and I chuckled.
It would have caught me by surprise if I hadn't seen the preview page. Like I saw an in-progress share. I know you got lucky, but they're going, what? Like, why are we being attacked? And the guy goes, they were in my hand. I got to get something. Miss cards, me thought. And yep, you start hearing the Cajun French. And our boy Gambit's here.
This page spread is actually that. Props to Lee. Like, that's my boy right there.
But it's Gambit. Also like
looks great.
I love this because yes, great. Like, it all works. But like, Lee was just like, if I'm drawing like I'm Marvel again, I'm drawing my boy Gambit. I don't I'm get out of my. This is the equivalent of like, I'm drawing Spider-Man again. Somebody's getting Ben's showing up here. Like, I don't even care what we're doing here. So I was like, Lee, I don't even care. Like you go. Exactly. Yeah. Lee's like, I'm going to make it work. I don't know. Did you notice this? I liked it where like Lois is like covering her eyes from like the energy, and like MJ puts on like sunglasses, and I'm like, people forget that a lot. Touch. People forget that it's actually like bright. It's not just an
blinding.
Effect.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. So then,
it's not a soft candle glow.
No. It's coming off of our Cajun heat. But then, we basically just end with like girls stick together. Like, I love you. I'll see you next time. And that's about it. We do get, I will say, that's about it. Pretty simple for Tom King. Nothing too egregious, even though there's some weird dialogue moments. But I will give King credit for this line back here where MJ starts, like she just makes a complaint, and she's like, I spent half my life in a multiverse with other versions of myself, and why do they always say, face it, Tiger, you hit the jackpot? Like, yes, I said that when I was 19, but is that like, can we have more than that? And King is kind of writing it in this sort of like male superhero comic dominated field type. It comes off like that, but on my end, I maybe you're probably the same way. They do really do that with MJ a lot. Like, they hit that all the time, and it's just like,
well, they do, and it hits because we don't get any of the good stuff that we like with MJ for the most part anymore.
Yeah,
at least in
nothing
the Spider-Man books, right? We get a lot of good stuff with MJ in her own book right now, right? In the Venom book, but at least in terms of interactions with Peter, we just don't. And so I think part of that is on, or even largely in part, due to Spider-Man editorial office. And so writers feel kind of strapped. And so they'll just like default down to their go-to card to play, which is like you hit the jackpot line or things like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get it, and I'm sure that King's intention there was just what you said, right? He's trying to actually be kind of snide about it. But I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, just from a writing perspective, like, no, that like MJ is way more than just that one line. That really one line was an incredibly important moment for sure, but she's more than that one line. The problem is the Spider-Man editorial office doesn't let her be more than that one line. Right.
Like, because MJ's big major development came during like their relationship and their marriage, and you can't talk about that at all. So what do we have? We have their dating history, which is that line. And that's all. Like, I guess a rare King W. I can't believe we're saying that, but like a rare King, maybe not even a W, but like, all right, get out of here. Like
congratulations, you did something passable.
Yeah, right. Like, all right, you're fine for today. But that ends the Jim Lee Tom King story. I do love that Lee had to throw in one little doodle of Gambit there, because that's his boy Gambit. I like
that. his Gambit is excellent.
It's like excellent. Definitive Gambit, like 100%. So from there we get my favorite story from this crossover issue, which
is probably my favorite of the smaller shorts too.
And you'll see what Clone Geek was talking about, where it relates to the Superman issue we just went over, but. In this story by Christopher Priest and Daniel Sampier, we have Peter, coming home from a day out of web slinging, only to find
Christopher Priest, who, by the way, our buddy Tommy
Yes.
over at World at War Comics just had an interview with over on his channel. So you guys should check that out. I shared it on my like my community wall for my
Yep.
YouTube channel. Please check that out. Like Christopher Priest is a legend within the
He's
industry.
so good, and he makes very rare media. Like he doesn't do interviews, he doesn't do this a lot. But according to you told me like he's on that show all the time. So go listen. Whatever Priest has to say, it's gonna be great. But
Absolutely.
Priest opens our story with Peter coming home. He hears a voice in his house. There's a naked man just sitting in his room talking to his costume. And
of all things to wake up to.
and Pete basically, so basically what this story is Prime is coming back, and he's like, I'm a fan. I read about you. Where? Secret Wars, where you got that living costume. Guess I'm a couple issues late, though. This looks like Amazing Spider-Man 263, where you've already ditched your suit for the cloth one. So now I need you to tap in. I don't know. I wanted to mention that line because it's so Superboy Prime, and it's so funny.
Like, really solid use of the fourth wall breaking,
right?
And meta conversation and dialogue with Superboy Prime.
They're doing really good things with him over here, but this story is basically, Superboy Prime comes to Spider-Man. He's basically like, I need sort of help getting out of where I need to get back to my world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes, you know what? Spider-Man, you're asking too many questions. Let's just go. We're going to go get into an adventure. And so Prime just starts punching his way through a bunch of comics. He punches his way through like Marvel comics, which I thought was pretty interesting. But this introduces that concept that we were talking about back in the Superman book. This is like a dimension, right? Like his powers, this is a dimension. It's called the library, where each page, he explains it here, each page represents its own reality. I'm fast enough to get in before the page turns, but I need surgical precision to pinpoint when to jump. Instinct, he's like, that's why I grabbed you, because your spider sense will help me jump to where we need to be. And he's even explaining to Peter, like, Pete webs a page, and he's like, don't do that. Like, oh crap, you turned a page, like it's all this crazy stuff. But, to what Clone Geek was saying, it's interesting because we got the very brief mention of like, my powers don't work exactly that way in Superman. But then we get like the detailed explanation of how they work here over in the crossover issue, which is like, are you going to put it in the omnibus now? Because you kind of have to. Like, this is kind of really important. But so
that would be wild.
I would be really stoked if they did that. But they basically discover that a version of the High Evolutionary is out here messing with Superboy Prime and, just messing with reality. Or he like trapped Superboy and was like using him to experiment on. And so now Superboy's like, okay, well, I brought you Peter. Have fun with him. And, I'm going to leave and now you're stuck here. Pete says, I don't know about that. And Superboy goes, yeah, no, I was joking about that. And he's like, what? You aren't a villain? He's like, no, I was just, playing. But then we get into like the emotional crux of this, which I really love, where Prime goes, like, we got to get out of here, right? Like he's just too powerful. We have to go. I'll deal with it later. And Pete goes, well, here's the thing. My uncle taught me something. With great power. And then, Prime goes like, I know, with great power, yada, yada, yada. And then Pete goes, yes, but also stop feeding your veggies to the dog. And Prime's like, what are you talking? Like, I don't know. And so Pete basically is like, the thing is, like, as long as people are in danger, even people you don't think exist because they're in comic books, like, you can't just feed your vegetables to you have to deal with it. You can't just look away. And he tells him, like, it's scary. I get it. But that's part of being a hero. And we get like that human part from Prime where he goes like, yeah, you're right. Like, I wasn't being Superman. Let's get this, right? Unfortunately, that's kind of where we leave it.
It's left very open-ended.
A lot of these stories are. Yeah. And I kind of like it because I feel like that's a good way to end it because you don't have to worry about like a good ending. But then it's like, oh, I want more. Like, where's Black Suit Spider-Man and Prime? Where are they going to go? Right? Like, oh, I want to see more of them. But
it kind of comes down to how difficult it is to tell a complete story
in
that
what,
small
like
of a
4
page count.
pages? Yeah, like you don't have, and I get it.
It's
It's
not
just like
easy.
I'm being the fanboy, and I'm like, I want more. Like I want to see more of
Yeah.
it. But from there, we get a short story from Sean Gordon Murphy of what's that called? What's his imprint called? Like the White Knight, right?
Yeah, the White Knight.
Yeah,
So you got White Knight Beyond, and you've got 2099. Spider-Man
Yes,
2099 here, which is
teaming up.
yeah, the team up that I guess makes sense. I've never cared for Miguel O'Hara, but I do love Terry McGinnis.
Which is like, I love that. So they pitched this story as like, it's from Sean Gordon. It's Superboy meets Spider-Man 2099. Everybody went,
Yeah.
really? Like missed opportunity there. Like
Yeah.
Terry and Miguel are kind of like the same thing, or they're analogous. But this turns out to be a good story where
he's in there too.
it's Bruce and Terry observing Miggy and Superboy, because like they just appeared in their time and they have no idea what they're doing, and they're both targeting Alchemax and I forget what the other company. Oh, LexCorp.
Yeah.
And so you kind of have your traditional superhero tussle, and then in the middle of the tussle, Spider-Man swings into the invisible bat plane, which prompts Terry to get out.
Cover's blown.
I love that second panel where they're like arm blades.
Right,
or like
they both have the that was cool. That was like a cool moment.
And then I like the little bit of attitude here from Miguel where he's like, sorry, can't talk. The way your teeth show through your suit like is really freaking me out. And he's just, because it's like, no, I always think of the Arkham suit.
That doesn't actually make any sense. And it only works, honestly, in the comic book or animation form. It doesn't work in video games.
They tried it in
It would never
Arkham.
work in live action.
In Arkham City, it was bad. Like
it looked bad.
Bright white
teeth. It looked even worse in Arkham Knight. Because then that's the one where they like over armored it and like over complicated the suit, and that pissed me off.
Yeah, and made it all like meshy and like Captain America, and it was just like, no, you missed it. You don't know what you're doing here anymore. But this is another one of those stories that ends open-endedly, because we just get Miguel and Superboy explain, we're from the futures, our futures, 2099, 2039, or the 30th century. Both, LexCorp and Alchemax both destroy our futures. So they came back in time to hit them both. And Terry goes, well, I think this is a team up. I think we're on the same side. And that's where we leave it. Really quick little, pop in, pop out. Again, like Andrew said, you don't really have a lot of room for these stories.
No real resolution. Yeah. It's hard to be mad at Sean Gordon Murphy art, though.
It really is. And like at the very least, like you get this, like they got them fighting, right? They had them clashing. Yeah. Like they're doing the stuff we would want to see from these characters, even if we're not getting a big cohesive narrative. So then we go into, we're going to go through this one really fast because we are running to the end of our time tonight, but this is the controversial one that we were talking about earlier, which is Matt Fraction and Steve Lieber on art. It is basically a story where Jonah is demanding that the new hire, Jimmy Olsen, bring him pictures of Spider-Man. And I love, did you notice who's on the couch there in between them? I'll zoom in. Whoop. Oh, now he's out of frame. Whoa, zoom in.
Nick Fury?
No, that's
Stan.
No, that's the photographer from Marvels. Remember, like the Alex Ross painted series about like the real world where he's like the photographer. That's him.
That's a cut.
I know. I was like, what? And the fact that he's like passed out or like possibly dead, I was like, we're going for a funny story here, aren't we, boys? So basically, Jimmy goes, what do? I got to go get pictures of Spider-Man. He goes out into New York. He starts seeing goo, webs, red. Oh, look, I found Spider-Man.
Must be Spider-Man. Nope.
Unfortunately, he ran right into Carnage. And we get a scrap up. Carnage starts attacking Jimmy. And Jimmy goes, you messed with the wrong guy. I'm Superman's best pal. And his Superman watch, his firmware has to update. And unfortunately, that leads to Jimmy being killed. But with Jimmy being killed, it is sort of, nobody understands like what really happened. So Jonah capitalizes on it. Look it, Spider-Man is evil. He is a menace. And in a sort of twisted way, because of his anti-Spider-Man bias, Jonah is now like, I can't believe. Of course, Spider-Man was the worst. He killed the best reporter we've ever had. Jimmy Olsen was a hero. Like, he was the best, the absolute best, right? And that's where that story ends. So it's meant to be humorous. Andrew, hit me with your thoughts on it.
I can appreciate wanting to take big swings. So I'm subscribed to Scott Snyder's Substack, right? It's called Our Best Jacket. And monthly he will do a kind of like live, not a live stream, but he'll do a like recorded event with fans, being able to like in real time live typing questions and things like that for him and whatever guest he may or may not have on the show. He's had oh gosh,
Didn't he
he's
just have Adams
had
on?
he's had Chip Zdarsky, he's had um freaking
Williamson.
he's had
That was who was just on it, right? Like
he's
last week.
and he's had yeah, and he's had Kate's.
Mm.
And so like he's had a lot of guys who have written some like pretty massive, like seminal runs on characters. And I've learned a lot listening to the podcast. Something he talks about very frequently is doing your best to not try and make the safe play,
Right.
right? Because the safe play isn't remembered. You know, this and sometimes by making the unsafe play, the big swing, that means you might whiff big as
You
well,
might whiff
right?
really hard.
And you might get remembered for the wrong reason, right? But when you do hit that, when you're putting everything behind that swing, and if it hits, if you're swinging for the fences and you hit that, then you just hit a grand slam, right?
Right.
And then you have something big. Then you have an absolute Batman. Then you have a Court of Owls,
Yeah.
right? You know, and so it's a give and a take. It's a risk, and there's no good art has ever come out of making a safe play. And so the memorable things are the unsafe plays that wind up hitting and landing with audiences. And I can respect and understand wanting to try and swing for the fences for something like this. It sticks out so much like a Roman candle for me within this little anthology. Because all the others, you know,
You're right. Yeah.
you're having your kind of like greatest hits types moments, right?
Like we were saying with the main
you'd
story. Yeah.
expect. And, you know, it's all meant to be just kind of fun and nothing mind blowing. Maybe, you know, oh, you have something a little interesting or strange like you did with Superboy Prime and Black Suit Spidey. But other than that, you're not doing anything crazy. And then you have this story, right? You have
Right.
Fraction, which is really interesting because Fraction's Batman right now, well, I wouldn't say is making a totally safe play. It is bringing Batman back to a more like
Status
standard,
quo-y.
like
Yeah.
status of like detective, right? And
With gadgets, yeah. He's less God and Batman again.
yeah, he's more Batman, which I like. I like my
Yes.
Batman.
We
I like
love
my
that series.
detective, right? And so he's doing a fantastic job with that. Whereas with this, he kind of went in a completely different direction. And it was just weird for me. And it's not so much the fact that he killed Jimmy Olsen specifically, because I mean, I don't have that much of an attachment to Jimmy Olsen one way or the other. Like, he's an important character. There's no question about that. But killing in a story like this that's just meant to be an anthology, like making that kind of a definitive choice with a character that's got a name as important as Jimmy Olsen's, it feels like it has too much finality for an out of continuity anthology that's just meant to be a crossover.
I mean, I think, yeah,
For
you
me.
hit it at the top there where it's like we said, with like DC Sonic or with this, it's doing what you expect it to do. It's doing its job, which is giving you the adventure, the expected hits, and maybe a little sprinkle of you know, something exciting here or there, but nothing too wild. And then you hit this one, which is like, whoa, it is really out of pocket for all of these ones, right? So like on my end, conceptually, I think this is really funny for you to have like, it's Jimmy, Mr. like innocent, Superman's best pal. And then he like meets up with Carnage, who was like
Brutally murdered by
90s edgy, and he brutally murders him. And I love the twist that like that's what makes Jameson realize like Jimmy was like, we all know Jimmy's the best. That's of course. But for then like, that's why Jameson does it. Yeah. It's irony, funny, all that kind of stuff there.
Yeah.
I think it would have worked better if this
It's
was
probably meant to be more commentary on the press than anything.
probably,
Like,
but
the press will like if something happens that they can capitalize on to push whatever their narrative is, right?
Well, did you read any of the like text on this page? Just like it's super, there's just funny bits where it's like Spider-Man is a baby-hating hellspawn, and then like at the bottom it's like the burden of righteousness, the birthright of all truth tellers such as I, feels like a burden, right? And it's like, okay, Jameson, like chill your butts out.
Quit huffing your own farts.
I think this story would have worked a little better if it was shorter. If they did like that 2-page Rocket Raccoon one, right? Like we had this, and then maybe he dusts up with Carnage, and then we have like, oh, he was murdered, and then we have that page. Like you go, whoop, like, whoa. I think you're like it hangs a little too much, and so it stands out a little more in this fun book, right? I think I'm right there with you. Not that it was a bad swing. It's just it's noticeable. We noticed it was something to point it out to us. But then from there we get a cute basic little story about Clark or Ben Parker back in the day driving through a storm in Kansas. His car breaks down. He's asking for help. The rain is so hard it's flooding. He flags down a truck. It turns out to be Pa Kent. And he offers, you can come to my house. You can wait it out. But as they're on their way, they see a couple of kids who are trapped in the storm. They're trapped in the, what do you call it? The like undertow of all the water. And so they just dive right in. They go, we're going to help them. We better hurry. Let's go. And the framing device essentially is Clark and Peter just talking about themselves, right? Like, wow, we're from two completely different worlds, which I like that little pun because that's how they start this off. Like, we're from two different worlds. And we go like, oh yeah, multiverse, like we get it. But then the story's playing out and you're like, well, is that their dads like hanging out, like meeting in the like what? And then Pete and Clark reveal it at the end. Like Pete's just saying like, we're from different worlds. Like you're a farm boy. I'm from the city. That's completely different worlds. But there's that unity of like good and justice that like can hang through all of it. And so we're not so different. So it's standard. It's nice. It's a cute little story. There's not really a lot to write home about on this one. I think at least. What about you?
I thought it was fine. Like I can appreciate its intention, which is just meant to tell a very simple story of who Ben Parker and Jonathan Kent are, right? That's what it's meant to be. Which really just tells you who Peter Parker and Clark Kent are.
Right, like where those
because both of those characters are who they are because of the father figures that they had, as well as like their mother figures, right? We wouldn't.
No, of course not. I do like that little note though, where Pete's like, "Yeah, my parents died, so I had an uncle," and then Pete's like, or Clark's like, "Well, funny enough, my dad died. Like, I didn't know my parents either," and I'm like, "Wow, I never really thought about like that's such a good connection point." Like, I love these two. These are our favorites. We love them. But from there, we get a fun little story. I mean, it's kind of a basic little story from Greg Rucka and Nicholas Scott, where Lois and Jameson appear on Jack Ryder, the Creepers show, and they're basically having a debate about like, why do you cover Spider-Man like this? And whoops, it doesn't really like break any new ground. We've all heard these before from like Jameson and Lois.
He wears a mask, and that's why I have a problem with him.
Right. And, I don't hate superheroes. I love superheroes who like show their faces, but it's that mask, yada, yada, yada. And that's basically what this story is. There's really not a lot to say about this.
There's not much to write home about.
I like seeing Jack Ryder. I always like that I always like that they remember he's like a TV host and they have him have a show. I always like that little detail. But from there, we get into our final story, which I'm sure everybody has heard a bunch about over the past week. It is written by Gail Simone, drawn by our wonderful Baylin Ortega, who we were talking about earlier.
She's so good.
She's incredible. But we get Punisher Power Girl, which is a very unexpected crossover. The basic setup of this is Frank has tricked his way into being a bouncer at a bar exclusively for like criminals and like the worst of the freaking worst. So he's gonna, on this night, he's posing as a bouncer and he's just gonna turn around in a moment and he's just gonna unload and take them all out. Unfortunately, out of nowhere, a pretty young woman comes along, which he did not expect, and she's here for a date. We're introduced to Karen Starr, Power Girl, and we've learned that her date is none other than freaking Paul, like MJ Spider-Man Paul Rabbit. And I know there's been a lot of controversy, people going like, ugh, Paul, how is he still here? How's he doing this, blah, blah, blah. With this story, a really important thing to note is that nobody's writing him. Even like, look at like what Al Ewing's doing over in Venom, right? Nobody's writing Paul as a likable character. Nobody's saying like, here's something cool about him. Here's why you should. He's here with the exact knowledge that he sucks. Even Karen knows it. She sits down for a date, immediately goes like, ponytail, really? And as he starts talking, she's just like, get me the wine list. Like, please. Like, I'd rather fight Darkseid than be on a date with this guy. And I think it really, like, I laughed a lot at that. Like, it makes, like, that would make sense. Like, you're blind dating. You guys are on the internet and, oh, it's them. And I also like it keeps up the little joke of like, how does Paul keep getting like the hottest women in every respective universe?
Right. Screw you, buddy.
It just happens, right?
Screw you and your freaking,
man bun ponytail thing that Dylan totally clowns on in Spider-Man, and we'll talk about next time that we get a Death Spiral entry. But from there, Punisher comes in. He's like, all right, it's time to tango. Let's go. And Power Girl goes, I don't know about this. You're not going to shoot my date. And Punisher goes like, look, I'm not trying to murder him. I'm trying to murder all of them who, for some reason, there's a bounty out on Paul where somebody's like, they're like, that's Vandal Savage. Go kill Vandal Savage. Which, like, I see it, right? Like, Vandal's got like the long hair all the time and the beard. Like, he's also had he has the ponytail over in Absolute right now, or before he went to prison. So with that, Punisher and Power Girl decide, oh, well, we're not going to let that happen. Yeah, like, he sucks, but he's not murderable. They take out everybody. They have a nice little team up. And from there, they kind of have like a nice little date, actually. And there's some fun chemistry here to the point where like it ends. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing a little more exploration of this, especially because this isn't like Punisher Max Frank. This is like our Punisher. He's still human. He's not just bloody murder machine all over the floor. But with that is where we end with Power Girl and Punisher, a really surprising little story starring Paul, and boom, all done. That is Superman, Spider-Man. Andrew, any last thoughts on our amazing little team up here?
It was a great little crossover. I was super happy with it. I didn't necessarily know what to expect outside of the main story because I knew that Wade would deliver.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be ever mad about my boy Jimenez on art for pretty much anything. But I was genuinely surprised and pleasantly surprised that I liked basically the entire thing all the way through.
I was really worried about the Tom King one. And
I hope that the next one, the Marvel one, that's Spider-Man, Superman, I hope that one's just as good.
We don't know any creative teams for that one yet, but yeah, let's hope. Let's hope it's better than that last issue. But with that, guys, we'll go back to our main here. I think that is a wrap for us tonight. I do agree with you, Clone Geek. We really do need like an art book of these like covers, of the interior pages of these crossovers, because they're real. Capullo's story might have sucked because it was written by Zeb Wells, but Capullo's art was pretty damn good over on it. So like, yeah, I definitely would love to see more of that. But yes, we're at our 2.5 hour mark, a little over. Andrew, let's get out of here. I know you're probably exhausted as shit. I have to go to the bathroom. What do you got going on? What do you want me to pull up? We can't advertise this because it's not available.
Yeah, I know, like there's nothing for people to buy. So all I'll say is for those of you who did actually buy it and have read it, if you enjoyed it, please be loud about it to Eric. And if you didn't enjoy it, don't be loud about it to Eric. I kid. Be honest in your reviews. But thank you so much for supporting it. Please support Caro's Dirty Deeds Jailbreak novel that we have up right now. So that's our first full-length actual novel.
So
not
cool.
Graphic novel on the Rippaverse. That's kind of her her wheelhouse. Like, she's a great comic book writer, but like where she actually lives
Oh yeah,
is more
like
normal
prose.
long
Yeah.
form prose. But aside from that, guys, make sure you check out. Saturday. I haven't decided if I'm gonna continue my Stellar Blade stream or if I'm gonna stream some Crimson Desert now that that's out
Ooh,
and I have
yeah.
it.
I've
I'm
heard,
sure Crimson Desert will probably get more views. But I also kind of
but we're in the middle of
just want
Stellar
to play
Blade, dude.
Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what I do. But guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate your support on the channel. As always, we've got some fun stuff planned for you in the
Yes.
future. We're trying to ramp up some things here and do some more fun stuff for you. And
Absolutely.
we appreciate you being along for the ride.
You will start seeing some of that stuff roll out next time we're all together when we finally hit episode 52. We're gonna go look back, as Andrew and I have been telling you guys. We're gonna do a new 52 retrospective. We got lots of cool stuff, graphics, updates, lots of cool things. Make sure you guys come hang out with us. And then, as always, I'm sure at least on that stream, we will remember, if you guys want a copy of Rippazine number 5, either the regular or the collectors, we have 2 copies of each to give away to you viewers out there. We'll probably give our first pair out with the new 52 review, and then we'll have 2 there. We'll decide what it is, but we have them. If you want them, come hang out. We'd be happy to get them in your hands. Like Andrew said, let Eric know you want more Blue Shift, and maybe we'll get that Blue Shift omnibus like Isom got, right? And then you can finally get the original story. But with that, any last words, my friend?
No, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us as always. Appreciate you.
Alrighty, take it easy, guys. Go read some good comics this weekend. And, go read Peter David's Matrix story. Get yourself prepped for that compact comic.
Yeah.
All right?
For sure.
All right, everybody. Until next week, we'll see you soon. And take it easy. That's all I got.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?